Worlster had signed up and like asked if he could be here. He's like trying to learn for True Blue, I think, so he's not like raiding with us or anything, but offered to let him join. Okay. So I'm just gonna go basically pull by pull, kind of explain what each pull does and what we're trying to do on each one and why. Like I said, if there's any specifics I'm missing from like a ranged or like healer POV, just let me know, because 99% of the XP I have in here is like melee and tanking stuff, so it'd be good to have info fill-ins. Alright, so first mob in here. Typically you can pre-pop a GAPP, by the way, before you walk in here, and that is for scare him, because he does a arcane explosion. So we'll have everything pre-popped, a GAPP pre-popped. It's not worth pre-popping anything else because it'll get eaten on these Anubisath trash packs typically. So just GAPP. And then once we're about to walk up to scare him, you can pop a GMPP. Alright, first guy, Obsidian Eradicator. Probably seen him if you've done a rep farm. Not too crazy, but he has a mechanic that causes him to mana drain people, and we have to mana drain him back basically. So if he hits full mana, he like explodes. And if he explodes, then a lot of people die. So we're not going to let that happen. You just blow him up, and then people with mana burns like hunters, warlocks, priests, just use your mana burns.
Please move into these unless you're set
okay.
Move it out.
Second trash pack. These sentinels are kind of strange. They have random abilities that each one can do. So like if we have them marked like Skull X, Square, Triangle, or Skull X, Square, Moon, or whatever, we're not necessarily going to go in like the normal kill order. We're going to go based on what abilities each mob has. So say we walk in and it's like, I don't know, Thunderclap on Skull. Like we're not going to kill that first because we don't want the other three doing Thunderclaps while we kill them. So we're going to try and focus on the ones that have the easier mechanics first, and then leave like the harder ones for last, because each time one of these dies, it's going to inherit the ones that are still alive are going to inherit whatever ability that one had and heal it back to full health.
Magic up.
Kill Skull.
So
Stack him up.
These ones are pretty easy. Mending's just healing, knock away just knocks you away. Reflect is whatever. Shadow Storm, you just have to be, I think, within like 20 yards of it or something. To prevent like taking like shadow damage. So everybody will just kind of come in close. If we had like a Shadow Storm and a Thunderclap, then we'd probably leave like the Shadow Storm in here and like pull the Thunderclap kind of out here, so it's not T-clapping the whole raid while we're like stuck in here.
Skull gun square.
One of them
But
is
we're just gonna kill
Shadow
these in whichever order is decided based on what abilities they have.
Square X.
I think this pack is like particularly pretty easy. The ones that have reflects, if you're a caster, obviously don't cast into the reflection. You can like kill yourself with like fireballs and shit. So
You see like a fire, arcane, or frost one, just like arcane explosion. That's what I usually do.
oh yeah, AoE abilities work.
Yep.
Eradicator coming.
So another Eradicator here. So it's like one Eradicator, those 4 Sentinels, and then we'll do 2 Eradicators here, and then another set of Sentinels.
Yeah, when it's
And then we'll be at the
I'll just
first
grab it,
boss.
just grab it.
Doesn't really matter that much.
Okay. Alright, so next pack of Sentinels. And let's see what mechanics they have.
Alright, let's
We usually fight them like kind of right around here-ish. It doesn't really matter too much, it just kind of depends on what abilities they have. But don't go closer than like right here, because if you go like up the stairs, you can pull the boss. So.
stack them up.
Take Skull out. We're killing X. Kill X.
Okay, so Mana Burn, Mortal Strike, Thorns, T-Clap. This kind of sucks. We'll do probably Mana Burn into Mortal Strike into, I don't know, Thorns or T-Clap, I guess. Usually they have Thorns for last, so T-Clap into Thorns. So if you're tanking these, if you ever end up having a tank assign on one of these, by the way, if you have Mortal Strike, you need to be really careful not to like kill yourself. Because they can hit for like 6k plus or something with their Mortal Strike, so it's worth putting a shield on if you're tanking the Mortal Strike mob.
Just take Skull out.
Where it's gonna
X and then
just pull
square.
Thorns
It's
out,
really bad.
so we're not cleaving
Square.
and getting like Thorns damage from it. Same with T-Clap.
After square we're killing triangle, it's Thorns. Melee behave. Last one is Thorns and Thunderclap. Be extra careful.
So melee specifically, because it is Thorns and T-Clap on this last one, you're going to be doing a lot of damage to yourself plus the T-Clap. So just be really careful not to like kill yourself attacking it. You can like step out for a second and heal up. Okay, so right now you can pop a GNPP. It'll help eat the Earth Shocks.
Make
We
sure
should
you
already have the
know
GAPP
which platform
pre-popped.
you're going to.
Okay, so first boss, Scarum. Let me pull this up. Alright, so he does like mind control on the nearest target. So what we do is have hunters go to the middle of each boss. So like every 25%, he'll split into images, like one on each side of the platform here, and then one in the middle. One is the real boss, and two are images. So they can do three things. It's the Earth Shock, the Arcane Explosion, which can be kicked, or the Earth Shock can't be kicked. Sorry, the Arcane Explosion can be kicked, and then the True Fulfillment, which is the mind control that can't be kicked also. But it only MCs the nearest target to the center of the boss. So ideally, tanks keep them super stable. Hunters take their weapons off and stand in the middle, and they eat the mind control so they can be CC'd, and they're not at risk of like murdering somebody. If you're like a warrior and you get MC'd by this thing, you're gonna just like be one-shotting people. So super important. You kind of like max range on these things and let the hunters get the MCs on them. If you get MC'd as a warrior, it's really bad. And if that does happen, like mages need to sheep quick. If you have magic dust, you should have your magic dust macro ready to rip, slamming it so that whoever gets MC'd isn't just like turning and just like one-shotting people.
Yep.
That's like
Main prio for mages for sure is sheeping the MC. Like, don't even worry about the ignite or anything like that. Just that's main thing. Don't want people dying.
Yeah, this boss dies really, really quick. So because of that, it also splits images really quick. You want to make sure that like the alternate, the non-boss images are dying before the boss is pushed, because every 25% he splits. So say you have like two images up, so you have like two images up on the side, and you accidentally push the real boss. You'll end up spawning two more. So all of a sudden you're dealing with five, which is really, really bad. Each one of them can Arcane Explosion. Each one of them can like mind control. So always killing the ads or the fake images before pushing the real boss. It is like the most important thing in this entire fight. If you have five of these things up and they all decide to Arcane Explosion, you're like wiping the entire raid basically. So AE is kickable and it needs to be kicked, should be kicked, but stuff happens. So just try and limit as many factors on this boss as possible by having the mind control targets in the center, people kicking, not pushing the boss too quick. It's better to just take this boss like semi-slowish than to just completely zug it down and just pray that we get we get through the ads, or we get through the boss before the ads do anything. You just kind of have to take it like 25% at a time.
Healers should be up the second set of stairs. So like where you would go on to the next boss platform and up on like the little side rail. That is, if someone gets MC'd and starts chasing you down, that is like the longest path that person would have to take to get to you. So we've had healers die to MCs before in this fight, so that's just the best. One further. Yep, right where your mouse is, right there.
That rail up there, not this one.
Yep. So you just kind of go halfway up the stairs, jump down onto it, and you'll see healer stack there. But nice and cozy there.
I can share this WeakAura with people too if anybody's online. This tells you what you're targeting, if it's real or like a fake mob. So like in this instance, the one that I'm targeting right now that just teleported onto me is the real boss. This is the one we don't want to push. See, it just transformed or whatever at 75%. It's already at 68. Again, this thing dies like super quick. So tanks just need to pick it up on their platforms and kind of hold it in place and be ready to kick. See, Larry did a good job here getting the MC. Everybody else was ranged enough that they didn't get MC'd here.
MC on Larry, watch it.
He gets sheeped. No problem.
Sheep.
And then right here at 50% it's going to split again. Yeah, so this one's fake, so this is one of the ones that needs to die before we push the boss.
You need to mark the main one.
I got it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, make sure you're killing the ads first. One's still up on the left side.
Shoot clanker.
Kill
Kill
main.
circle now.
Peta careful.
Keep kicking.
These
Kill
nameplates
circle,
are
kill circle.
My nameplates?
Kick.
Watch
Without
Josh sneak. Watch out. Back
kick
up
if
from
it
him.
goes.
I play like that, Dark. Don't worry.
Oh, with them being massive? I'm confused.
That's on this.
Okay. That's Scarum. It's really a simple fight, but like it's very easy if mind controls get screwed up, or if a lot of arcane explosions go off because we're pushing the boss and people aren't kicking. Like it goes from being like one of the like easiest, safest fights in the game to like one of the most dangerous. People just start dropping. So it's very important that you guys just listen to raid calls and just chill on DPS on the real boss, so that we're not pushing and getting multiple images, and that the images are dying before we push. I wanted to. I guess I don't have that. I don't know if I have that video of when. I think it was Kells died on Scarum.
What?
Or is it Colossus? I can't remember. The name's throwing me off. I think it was Kells.
Oh, yeah.
Was it this
Kells. Is this the one we just watched?
Just
No.
stick on circle. Kill circle.
one? Okay, so see, this is this is really bad. Boof gets MC'd here. This is like worst case scenario. Any warrior getting MC'd is like
Watch
really
move.
bad.
Watch move. Watch cleave.
See, like sometimes, even though you've
Circle's
like
running all the way
taunted
up
and tried to
there.
pick up
You
your
just kill it. Circle teleported over.
fucking ad, it'll run away. No, I guess that wasn't the one.
No,
He,
yeah.
he didn't even look like he was next to the boss and got MC'd.
Yeah, it's just whoever's closest to the middle. So if everybody else
Oh,
is
the
just
middle.
further
I thought you
away-
meant the middle of the boss.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the middle of the boss. Let me see if this might not be a good POV for it.
Just stick on circle. Kill circle.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah. So I think this is Larry or somebody was trying to get to the center of it, but it just MC'd so fast it didn't even matter because it teleported on top of him. It's like sometimes you do get unlucky. That's why like Magic Dust goes super hard here, like super hard. It's like a 1 minute CD, so you're only gonna be able to use it once. But in a situation like this, where you see like a warrior get mind controlled, that is the best case scenario for Magic Dust, because a lot of times they'll kill somebody before a poly can even go out. Even if you're like spamming the mind control target poly macro, like they could just kill somebody faster than your poly will physically go off. But Magic Dust is instant, so.
Move. Watch move. Watch cleave.
Anyways, okay. I thought I had a bad video of it, but I guess not. But just know if a warrior gets mind controlled, people can fall over like immediately if they're not CC'd. So Magic Dust and poly.
Well, Kanka.
Alright, let's move down. Let's move down. We're gonna need 3
Okay,
whip
so
shots
next
soon.
pack,
Hey, DD.
it's gonna be a Brainwasher
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good
And-
actually.
and
that's
2
Kill Pulse and
Guardians.
then Oliver and then
These Guardians have a
early.
horrible and interesting mechanic where when they get
Killing
under
the
50%,
Brainwasher first.
they
T-Bev.
will charge, or they can
Alright,
charge the nearest, like, or any Guardian in range of them in LOS. So this pack particularly isn't that bad because we have a ceiling here. Further into the raid, these Guardians will like pretty easily kill people with fall damage if they're not handled properly. So whenever you see Guardians, if we're telling you to stop DPS on Guardians, do not touch them at all. Just let them walk by you, because they die really quick. And if every warrior greeds a BT or greeds a whirlwind on them, like it will take them down to 50% while they're trying to get into position, and then they will start charging people. People will be thrown all over the place. You have to lip, you have to snowball, you have to petri, and if you don't do any of those 3 things, it's possible you just die to fall damage. So they get hectic pretty quick. Not on this pack, but further in. The Brainwashers just MC the top threat. Shamans can grounding totem the
Oh no, Skull Wipe.
Shamans can grounding. What the fuck?
Bars.
No.
Wait, no, dude. Are you serious?
Fuck.
Fucking
No.
Clay, dude.
Sorry, I was just watching that. I couldn't.
Not Clay Shaman, dude. Please.
Chota is our Oni cloak crafter too.
Oh no.
No way, douche. That's terrible.
That's crazy. What?
Fuck.
I'm sorry, Dark. I didn't mean to distract.
No, it sucks. That really sucks. Who else is in there? Said Minnie was there. Algar, maybe? Oh, Kuzer. Yikes, man. That really sucks. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving on this, not because that does not upset me, but because I don't want to keep everybody that's here for this, like, way too late. This is gonna be a kind of long review, because I want to go pool by pool, and there's a lot of pools in AQ.
Yep.
So, Brainwasher, 2 Guardians. Just kill the Brainwasher first, and then we'll work on the Guardians. You'll see here, sometimes the Guardians charge on this pack, but if they do, it's not the end of the world in this room, because there is a ceiling. Any other pack where there's Guardians, we handle them in a very specific manner and chill on DPS on them so that we don't murder our friends with, like, fall damage. They also put bleeds on you, by the way, so if you've taken a melee or something from them, and you take fall damage and you survive at, like, 5%, you can still, like, die to a bleed. Okay. Coming down this ramp, we're hugging the left really tight. Reason being, if you're over here, you can actually pull the Brainwasher packs that are down here, and then it becomes chaotic, like, really fast, because you end up, like, potentially having warriors here, on top of, like, 1 or 2 Brainwashers, on top of Guardians, and it's just, yeah, chaos. So just hug the left, make sure you don't pull them. Okay, Vecnus Warriors. These guys are interesting. When they die, they explode into, like, 20 little mini versions of themselves, basically, little Vecnus Borers. And when they do that, they all melee their, whatever target they're fixated on, if they're in range. So basically, the only people that can survive, like, one of these things dying is a tank with a shield or somebody that's in a lip with, like, a taunt up on it. So what we do is overlap, like, lip taunts as the ads are dying, so that nobody has to worry about like, dying to them. But if for some reason there's ever not a lip taunt out, like you see these lip taunts here, say like X here, say my threat's really bad on it, and you're a warrior and you decide to execute it, and you overtake top threat without lip, there's a really, really good chance when this thing dies that you're just gonna get one shot. So just keep that in mind. Don't ever execute these if for some reason there's no lip taunts out or whatever. But when done properly, it should look like that. Good overlapping lip taunts. Nobody takes any damage, and they all just die. If that's not done properly, you need to be really careful not to kill yourself with whoever's top threat. Just make sure it's always a tank that can eat the hits. It's like even in like full, you know, plate gear and stuff, I can get hit down to like 20%. Okay, so we're gonna jump down to this. We're gonna kill the Brainwasher here. It's the same thing, does the mind control, and then we're gonna drag these Guardians into the cubby underneath here. So you can see this one's already at 47%. This is not good. You don't want this. You don't want these things under 50 until they are in position where they're supposed to be. If he wanted to right now, 40, like this guy could just charge this Guardian, and anybody that's within melee range of this Guardian will just get thrown like 100 feet in the air or something.
Yeah, watching it.
So we're gonna walk into this corner. We're gonna S key. We're gonna hold S key while we're in the corner. If you're not holding S, if you get knocked, a lot of times it'll throw you out towards the ceiling or whatever else. So I'm not sure if Kyle wants to do this same strat where we're pulling these back tomorrow or not. We hadn't really talked about it, to be honest, but I'm just gonna go ahead and assume we are, and not pulling it to this corner or the other corner. So we're gonna hunter pull these back to us. This is a massive Guardian pack, and that's all there is Guardians here. So if any one of these drops under 50% before they're in position, they can charge.
You're not one of the tanks.
Same
You
as
should
the
be
others.
below,
So
under the lip.
only people that should be up here is like tanks picking them up to drag them into the cubby, get some
Unless you're
threat on
assigned
them.
this mark.
Drop down and then just get in this
Skull is
corner here and hold
way
S
too
key.
low. Stop.
Yeah, do not kill it before they all get in here, where everyone's in.
None of them should be below 50% before they get in. Make sure you're S-keying into the back of that wall.
Not the best POV, but
We're gonna get pulls down here next, so...
it kind of gets the point across. This is what your screen should look like if you're doing it correctly as a melee.
Drop your groundings.
If you're a caster or a healer or whatever, you guys need to just stay out here. That way, if the charge happens, you're not in range of getting hit by the boop. If you're standing near a guardian and a guardian charges it, there's a chance that you get thrown. And like your only options are to like lip
Not getting the MCs.
and make sure that your lip is going to be like active when you hit the ground,
That's
or
great.
wait until like you go over your apex and
guys
you're almost at
first.
the ground and you can snowball, or you can petri. But just know if you ever go flying on these, you need to do something or you might kill yourself. Okay, brainwashers.
Guardian,
So this is double brainwasher and
move them out.
3 guardians.
Watch.
So we finally see a mind control on this first one. Again, it's always top threat. So
Yep.
what you don't want to do is cleave these guardians as they go through.
Good chief.
Just kill the brainwashers, let the guardians get pulled into position, and then we'll kill them.
Target down, skull
You
and
should
X.
see me turn
Go
here.
ahead.
So these guardians are going to go around this corner back into the cubby, and the same thing. They did pretty good here not attacking them, but sometimes by the time they reach this corner, they'll be at like 50%. Something else that can happen is like, if whatever OT was supposed to pick it up is like slow to pick it up, there could be a guardian here and 2 around the corner, and people are just like wailing on this guardian. And I've seen, even though it's LOS, I've seen this guardian charge around the corner and hit the people that are like pulling the other guardians and throw everybody up in the air. So
My bad.
yeah, just respect the guardians. Don't cleave them until they're in position.
Everybody get in, get
It
behind
makes
these.
like the most chill
Cubby,
trash in
lift
AQ
or
into like your most
snowball if you got
dangerous.
launched.
If you're out, just stay out. When they're low like that.
Okay, so we're just do one more pack like this.
Pull the guardians
Yeah, see,
out.
they're like wailing on square there.
Target down, X
Should not be doing that.
it's just worth it.
And see triangle sitting back here. So in theory, this is fine. If this ever happens as like an OT or something, what you can do is just let those go that way, and just pull triangle all the way back. As long as it's by itself, it's not going to do anything. They only cause problems if they're in LOS of each other.
Stop
Total
from
Under
behind.
50%.
Hard stop on triangle. Hard stop. Hard stop.
So I think they end up dragging this one, but yeah. So an option once those other 2 went around the corner was to just kill it over here out of LOS, and it was fine. But we'll call that. Don't just like go zogging it for no
Make
reason.
sure you're in that corner.
Okay, second boss,
Jump.
Bug Trio.
Drink, walk up.
I'll be honest, I don't even remember which fucking boss fears here. I just know one of them does. Is it Kree? I think it's Kree. No, it's not. It's Yash. Okay. So, all you really need to know for this, we're gonna kill these in a specific order. Each time one dies, the other ones are gonna get kind of like abilities, or like based on which ones are dying. So, on hardcore, we only kill Kree into Yaj into Vim. I think if Vim dies first or something, he like enrages and some other stuff, but we don't do that. So basically,
give Steam
tanks are gonna
buffs
walk in
levels.
Deathwished, pick up their mobs. We're gonna blow up Skull. When it dies, it's gonna drop a poison cloud. Actually, all melee should Deathwish, by the way, because we're gonna be moving into like Yaj too. So like as like Kree is dying or like partway through dying, you can pop Deathwish, or to break your fear, pop Deathwish. If Yaj like fears people.
Make sure we're going in, dropping tremor.
But perhaps
dropping
Kyle
poison
will call the
cleansing
death
as well
wishes.
in there. Pat, can you get the lip shout
So
on X?
we're gonna blow up Skull. When Skull dies, drops a poison cloud. And we're gonna go into X. We're gonna drag X out. Sometimes it
Do
sits
rage pop
weirdly
back up if
because they
he's
charge
off
like
to
whichever
somewhere.
whichever boss dies, these 2 will charge it after. So
We'll do
as like a melee, for example, your tendency will be to like stand in on top of it so you can attack it. Just be really careful that you're not in the poison cloud as we drag it.
I'm good.
Carry on my opener. Oh, careful.
Good enough.
Dodge.
He's gonna die soon. Make sure you guys are not in the poison cloud.
Okay, I'm moving the boss. So Kree died right on top. You can see people are standing in poison, taking a lot of damage. If you take like 3 ticks or 4 ticks of that poison, it'll kill you. It's really hard.
There's the fear.
Some mini.
Killing X.
I'm done.
When
Pat,
Yaj dies, she spawns a bunch of little ads, kind of like the borers that we just saw. So we're just gonna throw like an AoE shot on them.
You guys got him.
And then Vim, his fun ability he does is just constantly drop threat throughout the entire fight. So usually have like 2 tanks on it, taunting to keep it in place. Maybe like 1 tank as like a ranged goalie, so that when it threat drops and runs to the like healer stack, it doesn't just like one shot a priest. And then
Ready to shout.
I see here once Yaj dies, then tanks are basically just gonna taunt rotate through the end of it,
Dark taunt and then done.
alternating taunts and mocks and things
Maybe
like
you get
that.
next. Oh, you already did the double.
Worst case scenario, if you guys ever see
gotta
it get
mock
free, you
it,
can
so
dummy
mock.
it, by the way, because it is
You
tauntable.
can send a mock.
Dummies can buy
And then
time for
taunt.
people to get to it.
Resist.
I've taunted. But that's really it for Bug Trio. It's not super hard, but I'd say
Good
Vim
boss.
and the Poison Clouds are like the 2 scary bits. Like the Vim charge, if he doesn't get picked up, and then like the Poison Cloud hits pretty hard. As long as the AoE shout goes off on Yaj, it's pretty free.
A little behind, sorry.
Okay, we're gonna do
Here's
either another Warrior pack or another Guardian pack, depending on pathing.
Hit the doorway here.
So here, there's this Guardian pack, another Guardian pack over here, and then these Warriors that pad around.
Pull these back. We're gonna need 3 more shouts. I'm looking at 7, then Shining, and then Paladins. Are you guys available?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so these are the ones that need to be lip shouted, stay under top threat.
Shining now. Paladins. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that
Outlier.
last one. Sorry.
Yeah, this is mine.
Okay, next Guardian pack, same thing as the other Guardians. There's just like 8 of them, or 7, or
Be
however
back
many
in
there
that
are. We're gonna drag them, so you can see a better POV.
one corner.
1 second.
Front of it.
We're gonna put them in this corner right here. So we're gonna walk into them and then just drag them into this corner.
Tanks moving.
Same thing,
Close.
don't go like crazy on them until everybody's in the corner. Just get in the
Be
corner,
back
hold
in
the
that wall,
SQ.
please don't get booped and pull so much
It
shit.
is the copy. If you get booped out, don't go back in.
And yeah, if you get knocked out, you don't want to go back in, for 1, and 2, if you're not in and you see these things are about to die, just stay out. Try and stay like 10-15 yards out so you're not in range of like the knockback. It's kind of the pathing and like the distance for which it can knock you back is kind of weird. But what can happen actually with these, because I think we usually skip these Guardians over here on the other side. If you get knocked out there, you can get knocked into that room with the Guardians. So like you take fall damage and then all of a sudden you have 8 Guardians coming at you.
Wait, are you okay? Did you pull it?
So just don't get knocked. But if
We
you
hold
do,
it, we hold it.
Hold on this side. Hold on this
oh
side.
yeah, see there you go.
Get a
Hold them
couple
back
dummies,
up.
no
Trying to
DPS,
mount.
tanks,
Good
just pick
example.
them up. Tanks
And now
just
these
pick
aren't
them up.
marked either.
Nice.
Yeah, so these aren't marked either coming in. They're trying to mark them quickly, but
They're marked.
There's a couple of them.
They're marked.
dummies in theory are good, maybe 1 or 2, but if you keep chain dummying these while people are cranking them, like say this thing's already under 50, then everybody's out of the corner, and then charges can just go off out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden people are flying down the hallway at the other Guardian back.
Don't
Get
attack.
them into the corner. Yep, just get them into the corner. Same deal, simple.
I actually have a really good example of what not to do here. This was, I think this was my last trade before I took my break.
Yeah.
Not a bad time to swap
Being a
the boss.
dumbass, I accidentally like
Recover.
snowball at the apex
Get a food buff.
on a knock. And I land at like 6% health or something. So this next pack, I don't know if they want to use this corner up here again or not, or if they want to pull it back, but there's 2 options. We can pull this Guardian pack into this corner right here, or we can pull it back to the one we were just in. I think recently they had opted for the one we were just in because it's safer. This one here is like a weird lip it can knock you into, which prevents you from avoiding the knockback correctly. Like, I don't know, this corner gets really weird sometimes, so maybe we will end up pulling it back to the other one. If that does happen, melee DPS, you're not standing up here waiting to pump it. You're just gonna like go sit back in the corner and tanks are gonna pick it up. But
Be all the way back in that corner.
so I think
Not dying.
Lasty answers. Come on over here.
Nice.
yeah, see how it like knocked me up on the wall there and it like evaded this mob. This corner's just
Be in
weird.
the corner. Shining, I can't see you.
So I walk out here at the end, not realizing there was still a mob alive, and it charges, and then I snowball at possibly the worst time you could physically snowball without killing yourself. And then land at 6%.
Holy shit!
So
Damn.
don't do that. This is a prime example of how not to handle that. I didn't want to use my pot CD, and I almost lost my character because of it. So
Thanks for doing the research.
yeah.
Yo, this corner is scuffed as
And that was extra scary too, by the way. The heals, I think, that hit me in the air were what saved me, if I remember correctly, because I had this bleed on me. That might hurt. Yeah, see, like those two heals.
Holy shit.
Yo, this corner is scuffed as fuck.
Yeah,
Not
let's not
good.
do this corner ever again.
No,
Okay.
that was after the last Guardian pack. That's the last one we have to do in the dungeon, thankfully. Is Sartura. This bitch sucks, but it can be handled pretty easily as long as rogues do their job on the ads at the start and tanks do a good job taunt rotating when we're on the boss. So that was my bad. That wasn't even. When you get to this door, you can't go past here. She pats really close, so if you're like right here, you can actually face pull the boss. Just make sure you wait back. We'll get full mana, make sure everybody's on the same page, and we're gonna walk in at a specific time in her pathing, so that we can
I don't know.
we can like walk into her as she's walking into us basically. So she'll like go in this big circle. I definitely just hit 6% if that's what you saw.
No,
Yeah,
my frames are showing you at 68% right now.
I think DFT dog.
Well, let this
Oh,
pass
DFT.
one more time.
I think tomorrow we'll probably have 2 rogues for this, which means the one that doesn't have a rogue on it will end up
Not the
Yeah,
ads.
you
cryo
can charge the boss,
focusing
do not charge the ads.
probably have many like throwing a bash on or something.
Bits on
Specifically,
square,
I want-
supers
yeah.
on triangle.
Otherwise, you don't want to put these things on stun DR, so like diminishing returns being that like if you stun them or charge them or intercept or anything like that, it'll actually reduce the length of like the next stun we put on them. So we want them to be able to take full kidney shots and full cheap shots from the rogues when they're opening on them so that they don't go anywhere, because each one of these spins and they will throw you like 50 yards away from them. So in order to kill them quickly, we have them stun locked, so we don't intercept them, we don't charge on pull, we don't do anything of that nature. We just walk into them, blow them up with sappers, cleaves, whirlwinds, all that stuff, and then we'll focus on the boss. If there's one that doesn't have a rogue on it, that's usually a target that we can intercept, but we'll let you know which one it is. So you need to make sure that if you are intercepting it, you're only intercepting that one and not the other two.
4, 1 star.
3, 2, 1.
Kill the ads.
Tanks move in. Sapper, everybody sapper.
Okay, so this is super clean so far. All the ads are sitting in place nicely.
Ads first.
If for some reason, honestly, I would recommend bringing snowballs tomorrow just in case, and having a snowball macro for yourself. Snowballs are super useful for a lot of things anyways, but say these stuns get messed up, especially because we're going to be down a rogue, I would recommend, if you do get knocked by one, use snowball, so you can come back in to kill it quickly.
Good job.
Okay, so now that the ads are dead, she's going to start randomly spinning, and when she enrages, her like enraged whirlwind hits really fucking hard, particularly for melee obviously, because you're in melee range. If she gets free and goes towards the healers or the ranged, you guys are also in serious trouble. I would drop a dummy and run away from it. If you get hit by like 1 or 2 enraged whirlwinds by her as like a caster, you're probably going to die.
You get low.
Ideally as tanks we shouldn't let that happen to you, because as long as she has a fixate from a taunt or a mocking blow or a dummy or AoE shot or something, she'll never move. But like resists can happen, weird things can happen, people can mess up. So if you ever see the boss moving towards the range camp, you guys need to just like drop dummies and get away from it. That goes for melee too. If you guys ever see it moving, don't be afraid to drop a dummy.
Let's move out of this.
It's like that. I get a taunt resist. You got an AoE? Oh, you got a mock, sorry. I'll send a mock as melee. Alright, so she's starting to do her enraged whirlwinds as melee. If you guys are low on health, just step out for a second and get healed up. You're going to save your pot CD here for lip, basically, so that towards the end you can like crank. If your lip is running out and you're still standing in and you're, not fully healed up, I would recommend moving out, to be honest, because her enraged whirlwinds are no joke. And when the entire melee stack is like this low on health, and you have healers that are supposed to be focusing tanks too, like somebody's not getting healed, and you don't want that to be you. Don't just assume you're going to get healed, because there's a lot of damage that goes out. Especially on like slower fights, which
Stun, just kill.
non-DMF, we're not going to be popping wreck on Sartura probably. Like, it might be slightly longer than you would expect, so you don't want to die to whirlwinds.
Crank up.
So not the cleanest Sartura. You saw she got away for a second because we lost Fixate on her. That should be about as bad as it can get, honestly. If Sartura is ever running around the room, it's pretty bad.
No totems through here. No hunter traps.
I'm reloading.
Also, just loot every boss. It drops the insignia. I don't know if everyone knows that either.
Good comms, thank you. Yeah, the insignias you turn in for rep. Once you get to neutral, you should use them to turn in for rep. Don't turn them in before then, because you end up limiting yourself on how quick you can get rep if you turn them in early. Thing about me and snowballing at the apex on these packs. Okay, so this is a gauntlet, kind of like suppression room in BWL, where like all these mobs just respawn. So we got to move as like one unit, not drop totems. Keep an eye out for your friends if they DC or like they're lagging behind. They're like their goldfish is on fire and they step away for a second. Just keep an eye out, see if you see anybody standing in the hallway, and you know, if you see something, say something. But we're just gonna walk through it. Everything dies pretty easily. We're gonna hug the left side too. There's packs on the right side here that can pull, but ideally we don't pull them.
Let's get up.
Just twist. It's literally so.
So we're just gonna go through the gauntlet. We're gonna go to like possibly the hardest boss in the entire game, Fankris. Okay, so once we get to the end of the tunnel here, depending on how mana's looking and how cooldowns and things are looking, we might wait for a second and kill this pack one more time for rage, or we might just all be ready to rip and just walk straight into the boss. Once you walk past like right here-ish, where I think it's this cat duck, once you walk past like right here, the boss will pull. He like aggroes from super far, so ideally don't aggro it before we're ready. Everybody on this fight, casters, melee, healers, everybody is stacking directly on the butt of the boss. So throughout the fight, these bugs are going to spawn at like 4 or 5 different corners of the room. If you're standing out, like back here, and the boss is right here, those bugs, if you get like global aggro on them, will just walk over to you and clap you. So if you're like a priest or a mage or something, like they can actually one-shot you if you get hit by all of them. But if you're standing on the butt of the boss with the melee stack, whirlwinds and cleaves and AoE threat from the melee area and dynamites and stuff, like melee are going to be salivating to get cleave damage on those bugs. So if you're stacked where we are, there's no way in hell you're ever going to take any damage from bugs. Just know if you're not standing on the butt of the boss, it's very possible. Throughout the fight, it'll also teleport people into these web wraps.
Range, make sure you're up on the tail. Everybody in on the tail.
It was this is not a hard boss, by the way. This boss is like actually a joke. Just about anybody can tank this, even if you're wearing like leather. He hits like nothing. It's taunt lockable too, so. This is a pretty decent stack. See these little bugs that come in. Off tanks will pick them up, melee will cleave.
Rip the Twisting Dream. Sorry, group 2.
There's on the wall.
Yeah.
It's fine, just kill these ads.
AQ40. Okay, so if the kill is long enough, we'll actually get these things, these worms that spawn. If a worm spawns, we have like 20 seconds to kill it, or it enrages, and when it enrages, it just one-shots anybody it touches. So, as easy as this boss is, if you ever see a worm, it is like top priority kill target immediately. You don't ever know it. You never want to see a worm enrage. I've never seen one enrage, thankfully, but apparently it can happen. So just know if you see a worm and we call it a worm, everybody's moving to it and killing it like as quick as possible. Okay. Next boss, Visitus. Super legendary boss. He doesn't take normal damage from anything. He only takes damage, quote unquote, from frost attacks. And after 200 frost attacks, he freezes, and then he'll shatter into a bunch of little globs. So that's why we farm Cold Rage daggers. That's why I think mages spam rank 1 Frostbolt, maybe. Never correct me if I'm wrong. You're not doing any threat generating abilities. If you're like a warrior, for example, you're not spamming Sunder or BT or anything. If you're a warrior, you're sitting in battle stance with your frost weapons on and frost oils applied to your weapons, and you're just spamming hamstring. And that is so you can get as many chances to proc your frost attacks as possible. Now, when he freezes, he's gonna like split up into a bunch of globs around the room. You're just gonna kind of spread out. I actually don't know. Gotta double check. Did we do group assignments for that? I've never actually looked. I don't think we do.
Like
Yeah.
where they're going to spread?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think we did. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's group assignments, but spread out around the room, and you're just gonna kill. Try and like get some cleave damage on the globs, and then get back to the center so that you can jump sapper on the boss, like when they kind of converge. I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about. But other than that, the other abilities that this guy has, he does an AOE frost, poison volley that needs to be cleansed immediately. So if you're a shaman, for example, the second that volley hits your group, you're dropping a poison cleansing totem. It'll clean your entire group at the same time. If you're in a group that doesn't have a shaman, you need to have EPRs so that when you get hit with the volley, you're taking it off immediately. If it sits on you too long, it does do like a lot of damage. So, and make sure that you're cleansing yourself. If you don't have a shaman in your group, don't rely on somebody else to single target cleanse you, because like take your own life in your own hands. Don't trust somebody else to do it for you. EPRs aren't that expensive that you want to risk your character over it. And then he does poison clouds on the ground throughout the fight also, so just keep an eye on those. Those also deal a crap ton of damage. They don't put a dot or anything on you, but if you're standing in them, they deal a lot of damage, so you just move out of them. Melee stack in particular gets kind of tight because it's hard to see the cloud. But depending on who's tanking it, if it's like me or Lando or whatever, we'll just move it out and tell you guys to move. Let you know. Okay, so walking into the fight, frost weapons on, frost oils applied, spamming whatever frost ability it is you're supposed to be spamming for warriors and rogues. For example, it would be like, I guess, Sinister Strike or Hamstring if you're a warrior in battle stance. Let the tank pick it up, because this thing doesn't take a lot of like natural damage due to the way that the fight works. Sometimes it is really difficult for the tank to actually pick it up either on pull or on the split when it comes back together, because when it comes back together after the first split, it's like a full threat drop. So just be really mindful on pull and on when it comes back together after the split that you don't kill yourself accidentally ripping threat on this. The healers especially can accidentally do it if they have a lot of global threat coming out of the split. So just be mindful to like lip or petri or something, because this boss actually hits really hard. So walk out, get some damage on the globs.
Fire Nova Totem now.
And ideally, this is a bad example, but you can. I was trying to find one to intercept, but you intercept back in and then you jump sapper basically. Ideally, every single glob dies on the first split. If you do 2 splits, it's not the end of the world, but it does make the fight longer. It's more mana intensive. It's just more dangerous for no reason. So, if everybody has engineering, like they should, everybody can just jump sapper in the middle basically, on top of the cleave damage that these things get on the way in. Should be enough to kill all of them. So when the boss comes back out, he's at 1%. He's not going to die. We're going to have to freeze him one more time, so frost weapons go back on here. For the split, sorry, you put your regular weapons on so you can do more damage, and then you put your frost weapons back on when he comes back out. And then we'll freeze him with 200 more frost attacks, and then he'll die.
Watch your threat, you might need to lift healers.
Okay, so Boof did a pretty good job picking it up here. But when he comes back together like this is like probably the scariest part of the fight for like healers or ranged or melee. I guess anybody other than the tank really, because if you end up getting more threat than the tank as it's coming back out, he'll just start running around the room, and like he moves way faster than we can physically move as like a tank. So just keep that in mind. You'll probably need to lip or petri until the tank.
If you start ripping heals here into anybody except the main tank, you're going to generate a giga amount of threat. We did a really good job in Fractured as healers of not doing that. It only happened like one time. So let's keep up with that trend. Just heal the main tank, maybe give it a second unless he's getting pumped right off the rip, and you shouldn't have any problems with threat.
Yeah. So like me for example, I don't have a life-giving gem. There's a way to kind of like nullify this mechanic of the threat drop, where like a warrior tank uses a life-giving gem and it gives them like 2.5 or 3k snap threat. I don't have one right now, but Lando does, so I think, depending on how he feels, I might have him tank it tomorrow so he can use his LGG to pick it up. Or not tomorrow, but Monday.
What's your threat? You
But
might
like
need
the second you see the boss come out and do this first volley and target somebody, that's when threat table is active. So just keep that in mind.
lift healers.
You don't want to be like pre-casting a fat like rank 3 chain heal on the melee stack that is not at full health, because you're gonna end up getting a lot of global from it.
Also, weapons back on.
Oops, got it.
And again, yeah, if it ever does, then you need to like lip or Petri immediately, because he'll not only potentially kill you, but makes it really, really, really hard for the tank to chase down because he moves so fast. So.
Hey, like call poison on your side, please. That's us.
So when the boss is this small, also by the way, melee, it's kind of hard to see. You can't really see the poison cloud. What I usually do is just watch frames here, because you're not doing anything else on this fight. You can see when the cloud comes out. It's like a red debuff. Melee, like that.
Poison.
Good job. That's quick.
You see he's frozen again, and then he'll just die.
It's dead.
That's it. And then these poison clouds are still active after the boss dies, so don't stand in them, don't walk through them.
Mount up.
GNPP.
Okay, so after the boss dies, you can GNPP now. After this GNPP here, you don't want to use your pod city at all anymore until we get to Hulu Run, basically. Reason being, the trash after these 3 Scorpion packs, you want to have a FAP pot CD available. If we ever double pull Stinger packs, it's just like AQ20, except they deal twice as much damage. So if you have a Vecnus Catalyst on you that turns in, or like an itch that turns into the Catalyst, and you get charged, instead of dealing 3,000 damage like it would in AQ20, you're going to take 6,000 or something. So yeah, it can almost one-shot a lot of people that are sitting around like 6,000-7,000, like casters and some melee that are wearing like not a lot of stam. Okay, so these Scorpions, they hit really hard. They also do like this poison bolt on their way in. That poison bolt can be grounded, so if you're a shaman, you can ground that. Try and respect the threat on the openers of these things. They hit really hard.
Next pack's close.
Sunders, boys.
Ready.
If you're like a hunter or ranged, don't just like be pre-casting like 5k threat into it. You don't want it running at you.
Nice.
You got this. You're king.
Okay, so kill the 2 Scorpions and then mount up, and we'll go kill this last pack.
The pack's now Nesper whenever you see them.
God damn. Nice surroundings.
Careful, Rage. I'm just gonna dummy this.
For this, for the Alright, in the corner, for this.
Okay,
for
so
that
this
whole
is
slashers,
probably.
yeah, mini and milk. If we get a double.
There's a lasher.
Let's see. Okay, so depending on what kind of ID we end up scouting, there can be like a lot of Karaji Lashers, which do a similar thing to Sartura, where like when they spin, if you're near them, they can just yeet you like 100 yards. If, say you're a melee, and there's like a Lasher, I don't know, like right here for some reason, if your back is towards this tunnel, you can get thrown into this tunnel and just die, or pull like 5 packs and kill yourself and maybe friends or something. So if you ever see like a Lasher, make sure your back is facing towards the hallway that we just came from. Don't ever be on the far side of it.
There's a lasher.
Otherwise, this trash is basically identical to the AQ20 stuff. We're going to stay LOS here so that when it comes in, it doesn't shoot catalysts at people early.
Stinger when it gets here.
And I'm supposed to be picking up some of the wasps here, but basically you just blow up the stinger before you blow up anything else. In this case, that didn't work because the stinger evaded and reset. But and then we get to the lasher. This guy can drop threat also, so we usually have a tank sitting in the stack over here. So if it comes like, you know, if it knocks this tank back and floats to the stack, the tank that's over here will just taunt it and drag it out. But if for some reason that tank is lacking and it doesn't get picked up in time, if you're in the stack over here, just get away from this lasher. Don't run over here, you know, because if this thing whirlwinds and throws you that way, it's not going to be good. So just like kind of dip out this way, get away from it. It deals a lot of damage.
And they're on the wall still.
Coming this back.
Lasher.
Lasher again.
Switch switch to the stinger when it gets here. Unless you're getting knocked.
So, if we're ever doing these packs, the reason I told you to keep your pot city available, if we're ever doing these packs and we pull 2 stingers, you need a FAP, like immediately. If we call for a FAP, you hit it, everybody hits a FAP, and there's no question about it. If you don't have a pot city, I'd recommend petraying, to be honest. If you get a catalyst on you, and there's still stingers alive, they always prio charge whoever has the catalyst, which means if 2 stingers are alive and you have a catalyst, you're gonna get double charged for like 12,000 damage. Now, FAP prevents the catalyst from being applied to you, which is why we FAP, but that also gives us 30 seconds to make sure those stingers are dead. So, just keep that in mind. If you don't have, like, pot city here, doing this trash, and you double pull stingers for whatever reason, it's probably a Petri angle so you don't die.
I'm gonna grab a pack in a second. No lasher in this one.
Shouldn't be using any potions throughout here, saving for if we need to use FAP or eventually the GNPP on Princess.
That was a really good example of how that should look, where the stinger just got blown up and the wasps were still up. It doesn't really matter if the wasps are alive, because it's just poison that they're putting on people.
This one is a lash.
The stingers are the scary ones because the charge they do with the catalyst on you. Okay, I'm going to skip through the rest of this. It's pretty simple. We're just going to keep pulling these back here until they're all dead, and then we're going to go to Hoo-Hoo. Now, before Hoo-Hoo, ideally, you have a GMPP pre-popped. I don't know if we're going to wait for that and then wait for pot CD, depending on like what we're expecting our kill time to be, but if we don't, then we'll probably just walk in and just have our pot CD ready as melee to pop a GNPP. Okay, let me skip to Hoo-Hoo. Okay, so Hoo-Hoo has a few important mechanics that you need to be aware of. Basically, this boss just needs to die really fast. And it negates a lot of the mechanics. There's guilds that ask people to wear nature res on this fight because longer fights are pretty dangerous for melee, for example. So we're not going to do that. We're going to zog it down, but people need to be on point. They need to not greed and use Blood Fury. Blood Fury is stupid as hell in this fight, to be honest. If you use Blood Fury, you need to be ready to Petri because you're not going to be getting healed, right? Your pot CD should be used for a GNPP, and we're going to drop dummies in the boss at like 50% or 40% or something. So, I'll explain why in a second, but basically, she's gonna put like poison on the tanks, or on the tank, and then we'll randomly put poisons on the melee. If you are a person that can poison cleanse, you do not cleanse anybody on this fight except for the main tank, like period. When you cleanse, it actually deals damage to people around them, so if you cleanse a bunch of melee, you can like kill melee doing that. So, you don't want your tank taking extra damage on this fight because she frenzies, so if you're like a hunter, you'll be trank shotting this boss on rotation with other hunters. Yeah, so let me play it a little bit and I'll kind of explain. If you're a caster or a healer, it's really important that you kind of fan out around the boss and don't stack up with each other. You don't want to be stacked on other people because when she does her like poison sleep, it'll do it in kind of like groups, like an area. So if like all of the healers are stacked like this, for example, this entire spot's getting slept and then nobody's getting healed. So you just want to like fan out.
DPS left. Be ready for the dummy call. Think about what buttons you're gonna push.
Push.
Okay, so if you're a melee, you are stacking very tight in on this boss. When she starts casting her enraged poison bolts later in the fight, it's gonna hit the 15 closest targets to her. You do not want that to be your tank because your tank is already taking a shit ton of damage. So everybody's gonna stack in really tight, and then we're gonna drop dummies really tight in the middle of the boss so that it's being split between the dummies and the melee. That, on top of chain heals, on top of us popping a GNPP, should be enough that nobody's taking tons of damage, and it's not gonna be a problem. If people are holding out on their dummies, if people are holding out on their GNPP, if people are popping Blood Fury, those are all things that are going to make it way worse. So just keep that in mind. We're probably going to wreck Deathwish wreck on Hoo-Hoo, so just keep like your ears open if you're, you know, a warrior for your CDs and stuff on that too. But just know that like these people are standing out here are like actually griefing the raid, in my opinion. You need to be like in the boss. Your tank can't go any further than this because they're tanking the boss. So if he's taken enraged poison bullets, it means we're not doing our job either with dummies or with our positioning. So
dummy. Dummy in the hitbox now. Dummy in the hitbox now. Everybody dummy.
Also, it's kind of like noticing how many. I wonder if these chain heals bounce from Boof here.
Be ready to GMPP if you get low.
Yeah, so this is with 2 or 3 enraged poison bolts with dummies and the boss, by the way. So being split between dummies and the other people. You see, there's a bunch of Blood Fury offenders too. So, I mean, nobody can stop you from pressing Blood Fury, but just know if you do it, be ready to Petri, because you're not going to be getting healed the way you should be getting healed. So, anyways, take care of your own character. Fight goes really fast. I'm going to play it one more time start to finish because I feel like I stopped it a bunch. Alright, so start of the fight. No big deal, everybody stacks in tight. Ranged, spread out. This is a okay spread, I guess.
It's good.
Be ready to dummy. Dummy in the hitbox now. Dummy in the hitbox now. Everybody dummy.
Drop dummies in the hitbox around 40%. Be ready to GNPP.
Be ready to GMPP if you get low.
And
job.
that's it.
I don't
Do
know
I
what it
need to
is.
hit
Let me
the
get
thing?
it. Yes.
I hit need.
Okay.
I hit need. I hit need.
Mark Serenity for ranged. Mark Clanker for melee stack, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stack up.
I have
Let's
a
get
star
this shit
melee.
done.
This next trash, I would argue, is probably the scariest trash in the entire instance, as far as like personal accountability goes, because there's a few mechanics that can happen that can like one-shot you, so or kill your friends, which is
Be
not good.
aggressively positioned.
So what we're gonna do on this trash is we're gonna split into 2 stacks. Reason being, there's a meteor mechanic these mobs can do, and this is random by the way. So these mobs can do a meteor mechanic, they can do a shadow storm mechanic, and they can do a thunderclap, and they can do a plague. I think that's it. But it's like any combination of those things basically. So if it's like thunderclap meteor, thunderclap is only melee range. So having your casters all the way back here not getting hit by thunderclap is super important. Melee is going to be taking extra damage because they're having thunderclap. If it's meteor shadow storm, this meteor by the way works the same way as AQ20. So if you've been to AQ20, you understand why it's important. Everybody needs to be stacked up properly. Hunter pets cannot be on here. Totems that were dropped near here are also dangerous because they can be targeted. The way these meteors interact with like totems and pets in positioning is really strange. So you don't want anybody near the melee stack other than, or not the melee stack, but any of these stacks other than just the people who are supposed to be there, not the pets, no totems or anything like that, so that meteors don't like clip right here and then one person standing just barely in range of that totem and they get one shot. I've seen 2 people die to pets on this trash before, thanks to the way the pets were positioned. So yeah, not to be taken lightly. So I didn't want to
Stack up
leave.
quick.
I didn't want to leave Fractured high and dry. They've done a lot for me, so
Planning
give
on
them a little more time.
Be ready to move in if it's shadow storm range, okay?
All right. So when these are pulled, everybody in the instance is in combat. It's kind of like a mini raid boss encounter, by the way. So
Be
there's
ready.
no like
I come
escaping this if you want to run away, like you're in combat with it. So we have 2 stacks. You can
Check.
see right here, it just casts Shadow Storm. It's kind of hard to tell, but he casts it from his hands. If we call Shadow Storm, everybody is moving in. Period. You're never going to get a Shadow Storm Thunderclap. You're never going to get a Plague Meteor. Those 2 things are not possible. It's like it's either Shadow Storm or Thunderclap, and it's Plague or Meteor, but it can be a combination of either set. So Shadow Storm, anybody outside of like a 20-yard range or something on these mobs is going to take a shit ton of shadow damage. So if you want to have a GSPP pre-popped, highly recommended if you're like, average like 6,000 health or something as like a caster or a healer. I would keep GSPPs up during this trash. The Shadow Storm is super scary if you don't get in fast enough.
Yeah, just always pop a GSPP here. Those bolts like actually fuck.
They're dumb.
For sure.
Then-
And priest can do the prayer of shadow protection too, right?
Yeah.
So we can
Yep.
get
We
that up.
make
Yeah.
sure that's up for sure. Yep.
Frost out.
So this combo here, Plague, Shadow Storm,
Closer, like 10
not too
yards.
problematic. Plague is again same as AQ20, but it deals a lot more damage. It's like 1,000 a tick or something on your friends. So you want to move out of your stack, whichever stack that is, so you're not dealing plague damage to your friends. But because it's Shadow Storm, if you move like 30 yards out, you're going to be taking Shadow Bolts to the face also. So you don't want to do that. You want to just move kind of. This is like a really good position by Frost here, where he's not doing any damage to anybody,
Just out.
but he's also not getting Shadow Bolted.
Just sneak out. Be ready if this is explosion.
Okay. So when these things are about to die, they can do two things. They can enrage, which doesn't really do much. They just like get big and then they fall over. Or they can explode. If they explode, a lot of times we don't have the AoE like magic damage to kill them. Like, I'm not going to get into the details of that because it's like nuanced and complicated for no reason. But just know if it's if it's an explosion, you are turning around and you are running away. You're not jumping. If you jump, it will snapshot your character's location closer to the mob. Actually, not you're like if you're in the air, it's gonna show. You know, like the game is gonna think you're on the ground where you just were basically for the mechanic. So don't ever jump when you're running away from things.
Run backwards, okay?
When he's about to
moving.
explode, does he only take physical or magic damage?
I think it's only magic AoE damage. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, like you can still fireball or frostbolt, whatever, and he'll still do damage. Sometimes like he'll die. Like if you have like a fat ignite going, he'll die before he explodes.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is possible to kill them before they explode, but I would not count on it because you don't want to
Yeah,
get down
just
to
get
like
the hell out of
2k
there.
Is it
health and then
because
explodes in your
raids are
face.
mostly warriors like centered? Like, is that why like odds are it's better to run just because there's not enough damage like magic wise to kill it?
Yeah, I would not count on it dying. I would say more often than not they don't die, at least in AQ40. In AQ20
Right.
they die pretty easily, but AQ40 they have so much health that the magic damage that we do to them when they start to explode isn't enough to kill it before it does.
Before.
So I would just assume it's going to explode all the time and run away.
Good comms.
Yeah, so it's like a 20-yard range or 25-yard range. Jumping? You snapshot your location when you jump, so if you're like... But yeah, when you're running away, don't ever jump. It's also important you don't run down this hallway because there's a bunch more of these guys, so ideally you're running backwards towards like Hoo-Hoo's room
Next
when
to
they're exploding.
Just sneaks to
So we're waiting for plagues to fall off so people can get back on their two separate stacks. These ads, this trash also spawns like these little ads that'll like run at people, but we have tanks in each stack to like pick them up, so they're usually not like not a big problem. The big guys can actually knock you back a little bit, so just be aware of that. If like the little gladiator looking guys are coming in. If like the little gladiator guys are coming in and they like knock you back, or be aware that they can knock you back and you need to reposition yourself back in the stack so you don't like die outside of it on like a meteor or something.
I meant just the mark.
I'm not gonna show every
Oh,
single one of
yeah,
these. I'm just gonna try and find more combos. Okay, so that's Shadow Storm again. So Shadow Storm Meteor. This is like extra scary when you're ranged because Shadow Storm deals Shadow Storm damage obviously, so you need to move in. However, when you're moving in, because it's Meteor, it's easy to get split up from the group. So you want to stay as much of a unit as possible when you guys are moving to the melee stack. If you get caught by yourself back here and a meteor falls on you, you're just gonna die. So if for some reason you're like, I don't know, severely lagging behind.
Guys, pay attention.
Yeah, so like this. This is a wonderful example. Monty and Josh could just get like one shot here by a meteor if they get unlucky. Personally, if this happens to me, I'm slamming a Petri. Cause like you're not gonna, you're not gonna know if you roll that 2 in 40 chance to get hit by a meteor here. Like you're just dead. So yeah, don't do that. Just make sure you stay with the stack if we call in on like Shadow Storm. Because even if it's not a meteor, by the way, you can do the same thing. If it's like Shadow Storm Plague, you know, because you're just gonna move out if you get Plague anyways. But you can just stay with the stack tightly. So just know if it's ever Shadow Storm range, you guys are moving in as a unit. And then when you're in melee range here, if it's meteor, you just stay nice and tightly stacked.
Explosion, out.
There you go. So that one died.
Let's restack quick.
Yeah, move up a little bit. Melee.
Pay attention.
I would say the scariest combo for sure is the Shadow Storm Meteor.
Waiting for Moon to leave.
And specifically for the ranged. So
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
Be fine.
Stay stacked. Bigger heals on the
this is
melee.
T-Clap Meteor, so it's just gonna be a lot of melee damage. Okay, I'm just gonna skip through the rest of this.
Be
I
ready.
feel like this specific raid was like Shadow Storm every
Be
single
ready. It's
time.
fine.
Yeah.
Out, out, out,
Four,
out, out.
3, 2,
Is that you in the bottom left? Dark?
Yeah,
Nice.
that is
What a
I.
handsome guy.
What a lad.
Thanks, guys.
What a lad.
Oh,
What?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Yeah, fucking
Shadow
Shadow
Storm.
Storm again.
In together.
Yeah.
In
Into
together.
it.
Storm
Be on
Meteor.
square. Be on square.
This is a good time to get a frost protection pot going if your other pots haven't been eaten as well for twins.
Yeah, good call. Fire and frost.
Good.
Fire as well, it might get eaten here, but you'll probably have time before twins get pulled to re-up it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a fresh Coke Zero.
Heading low.
One
Be
moment.
ready if it's explosion.
We'll finish this.
Out, 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 out. Everybody out.
I need a Coke Hero.
2, 1.
I have some weak auras I can share with you guys too if it's your
Alright, let's
your
get
first
the
time going in here.
tanks swapped for
If you log in like after we finish this
coming in my group or
little.
whatever.
I definitely need that
presentation.
Scarum knowing which is real phase.
Yeah,
I've never
everybody
had
in
that
the
before.
raid should have that, so we're not just like cranking the boss.
I
It helps.
I always like went off the
Steven's right.
like we just mark the real guy and it usually carries over whenever
Yeah.
they split up, right?
Yeah, that's
Warlocks,
also a
make sure
thing.
you have your shadow res stuff
Yeah.
on.
But I've also seen sometimes where like he got unmarked somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, some add-ons like
Thank you for the
DBM and
names
stuff
above
like
me.
that will just like
Golf
decide they want
course,
to put
trying
marks on
cancel
things.
those
So,
interests.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
The
when
weak
someone
auras
gets
will improve.
MC'd, he puts a skull on it.
Yeah, another way to know too, by the way, if you're looking at the boss and it has like 300k health, that's real. The ads have like 40k or something on stream, so
Yeah.
Holy shit.
another way to know. But okay, so twin imps. This is like, in my opinion, the first like big check of honestly all the raids in WoW. This fight's not insanely difficult, but it's long, so it's like a mana check, and it's a skill check for your tanks. It's a skill check for your melee to listen to raid comms and not kill themselves. There's a lot of like little random things that go on twins that can be dangerous, like for individuals specifically. So
Warlocks are said they're ready. Darks.
a lot of focus. Make sure you're fully prepped and expect it to be a relatively long fight. So let me think. How should I go about explaining this? My POV on this is going to be really cooked because I'm a tank, but basically, one of these bosses can only be dealt magic damage. One of these bosses can only be dealt physical damage. So we have Warlock tanks that have Shadow Res gear that are going to be tanking the caster one with like Searing Pain Spam. If you're a mage, carrying ignites on the caster boss is extremely dangerous for when the threat drop is about to happen. So every time they teleport, it's a full threat drop, and it needs to be repicked back up. If you're rolling an ignite and you are the ignite mage, you need to be like, I mean, never, I'm sure, will be calming it or whatever mage, but it is
Yeah.
so important you're not rolling a fat ignite and that you drop it before the threat drop happens. I've seen
Yeah, we'll have
2 or
some
3
people like
mages
stay
die,
frost.
I think.
Yeah, it's so scary, dude. Yeah, I think like we'll have a couple. I'm gonna stay fire because you need to get the scorch debuff up, and that like helps with threat for the warlocks.
Yeah.
But like 1 or 2 mages staying fire, and then like the rest staying frost. That's kind of what we did in fractured,
Okay.
and it worked
That works.
to prevent the fat ignites.
Yeah,
'Cause
dude,
that shit is scary.
I've seen too many mages rip and have to lip Perpetua or whatever on this.
Rip
So,
Foopies.
So let's see. Best trying to figure out how to start explaining it. I guess I'll just play it and show you. So I'm second tanking here, so I'm not taking the melee boss at first. But when the boss is first picked up, melee, physical, you guys need to be really careful to let I guess it'll be me tomorrow, and then Lando will be, or not tomorrow, Monday, sorry, and then Lando will be picking it up on the other side. Just respect the opener so that we can get it into position. Same thing goes for every time the threat drops. You guys just need to be really careful. So throughout this fight, like bugs will randomly become enlarged. Some of them will explode, depending on which boss it is that empowers them. So like, let me just play the fight real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about.
Tried to.
So on pull here we have Warlock Tank taking Shadow
Arcane
Pulse.
shot doesn't work.
This is not good.
Dark Hip.
The boss should not be running across.
Yeah, I tried to.
Hunter should shoot it back to the tank and they pick it up. Okay, so see that big bug there? The caster dude will randomly empower bugs around him that explode. And I think that's like 3k damage or something for the explosion. So if you're like a caster or a healer and you're near the caster side boss, just be aware that like if you see a big bug, it might explode next to you. It'll say exploding bug usually on like DBM or bigwigs or whatever, and just move away from it. He can also put blizzards out around you, so that's why the frostpot's important. It will slow you, it deals a lot of damage. And if you're a melee or you get too close to him in melee range, the caster boss will also do like an arcane explosion that slows your movement speed and deals a lot of damage. So
Slow, let him position this.
just respect the boss. This is about as close as you can get to it without it going off, but it's like more of a tank concern than it is anybody else.
I need someone to take out this
3, 2, 1.
That's
Melee moving.
If you are a healer on this fight, tanks take a shit ton of damage randomly. Vecnalash, the melee boss, has a mechanic called Unbalancing Strike that reduces your defense level by 100. On top of that, he can batch like a melee and an uppercut at the same time. Tanks can literally get chunked like 80% of their health sometimes.
Because of the defense reduction?
Yeah. Now, I assume Lando has enough defense also, but once we get enough gear, we can mitigate the unbalancing most of the way. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It still hurts really bad. That plus the uppercut in like melees, in the way that these guys can double batch melee attacks, like they can actually crit. If they were to like crit crush or like double crit or double crush, can still hit like, 5-6k at a global. So this is one of those fights where like cancel casting on your tank is not ideal sometimes. I'm not a fucking healer main, so Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. I just know that like tanks can get giga chunked, and if healers are caught lacking at all, tanks can just fall over.
So it's better to overheal in this fight.
In my opinion, yes. But Chris, tell me I'm crazy. It's fine.
Yes, it is. Yes, but like you don't have to necessarily be flash healing. So like priests, this is a heal fight. Like you can spam rank 2, rank 4 heal. Be ready to power word shield. Shaman, I would kind of imagine it's healing wave, but with some chain heals when melee are getting hit by bugs and stuff. But I haven't looked at a log in a while to see what the meta is for Shaman.
What would you like priests to be doing? Spamming flash or spamming graders, renews, shields?
It's a heal fight. You can weave some flash heals in, like if they get chunked and you finish casting, like top them off with a flash heal. But you're pretty much just chain casting. You're just chain casting heal. So there's 2 priests on each side, and then shamans are split up a little differently based on group, depending where the tanks are and stuff. Sometimes we shuffle them around right before this, but it's just 2 priests on each side. So
but there's somebody dedicated to the actual tank, so we're just there to be like, oh shit, they're extra low than they should be. Let me help out.
Yeah, I mean, for the gist is the shamans are typically doing the AoE healing rate. So if the priests are just like obviously if someone else like gets hit by a fireball or something, I guess you can pivot to them, but everyone can't be pivoting off the tank.
The majority of damage that goes out on this fight is going to be your tanks, warlock tanks, or the 2 warriors, or like.
I'll send you a log, Oopies, or you can just look at any of our logs as well. You can see what the priests are. You can just filter by priests on this fight and just see the timeline exactly of what we're casting and kind of the rhythm of how we're going. So
careful with how.
That is exactly what I'm asking for, because my main was a mage. It seems like I should be priest now, and yeah, I want to learn the rhythm, whatever it is that like how shit works out when you're priesting a lot of these raids.
100%. I gotcha.
5,
think.
1.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is a great example of like, just how much freaking damage you can take. I'm wearing like 400 defense here, so this isn't reducing me low enough to get crushed every hit. And even with that, like I get crit, I get a 3200 imbalancing and a 1400 crushing at the same time. It takes me down 60%. So if like a bug explodes near me or some shit like at the same time, like it's just a lot of damage.
You ready to teleport?
ATP, careful.
Okay, so sorry, I'm kind of like skipping mechanics here because we got into the healing thing, but melee. So you'll notice that I just picked up this boss over here. Every like 30 seconds or something, I don't remember how long it is. I'll look at the timer in a second, but the bosses will swap sides. So when that happens, a lot of times there's bugs along the way. These bugs are not rage mobs. Like if you aggro one scorpion, it will aggro 10
Oh,
as you walk by them. It is very, very important.
super social.
It is very important that you do not just start smacking bugs for no apparent reason when you're running across. If you do, or somebody else does, or they demo, or if for some reason they don't click off their Dragon Breath chili, which you should, by the way, if you have chili, make sure it's clicked off. It's very important you guys stop in place and kill bugs. If you see people dragging bugs, you need to comment and be like, hey, kill these bugs, because you'll end up aggroing 20 of them. Healers will get like healers will get healing aggro from them because nobody has a lot of threat on them, and then all of a sudden healers are getting pushed back and a tank dies because they can't even heal. So super important that you guys don't drag bugs. If you see a stack of bugs, you just kill them immediately, and then carry about your business that way. The empowerment on the melee side just makes one big bug. It doesn't explode. The caster one explodes, so you get away from that. The melee one can just be dragged in by whoever's OTing on that side, picking up bugs, and just kind of cleaved down. So, yeah, so it's so important. It is so important. You guys do not drag bugs on this fight, please. It can turn this fight from like pretty safe to scary pretty quick. So
Careful with how close you guys are. Some of you guys are kind of close to this boss.
Teleport.
so when the teleport's about to happen,
5, 4.
we'll calm it. When it's at like 2-3 seconds, you guys need to get out and start running to the other side. Melee. That's the whole thing you're doing. It's a lot of back and forth. But what can happen is whoever's closest to the boss when it teleports
You ready to teleport?
will get snap threat.
Careful.
So like if you're not a tank,
Stop killing the bugs. Stop dragging them.
if you're not a tank, for example, watch this. Usually, yeah. See, it like turns and auto casts the shadow bolt on me for 3k. I'm in D stance. A warrior DPS getting hit by that, you're gonna get hit for like almost 4k or something. So yeah, you don't want that to happen to you. That can kill you if you're not topped off. So when we call out, you guys are running across. You're not grading melee damage. Just get out.
That's pretty good.
With all the bugs, is that a no multi-shot angle?
Yeah. I mean,
Great comps.
that is a good question. I would ask Kyle when you see him, or Larry. Those two have done this a lot. But I'm assuming yes, because it's kind of grief. I feel like the little bit of like extra damage you would get from the multi as opposed to dragging, however many extra bugs.
I'll make a note so I don't forget.
And these bugs respawn, by the way, so even though this floor looks clear right now, you'll see they'll all just like respawn, so it's not like they stop once you kill them. This blizzard right here is a good example where you have GFPP.
7, 6,
Rage
5, 4, 3,
Or G-Frost potion.
2, 1.
Demo shout. Warriors, every warrior should be imp demo, so if you're not imp demo, please like switch to that. Unbridled Wrath is actually useless. World buffs hard carry or rage generation. 1 rage, 40% of your swings is absolutely nothing compared to getting like max rage from a single crit with world buffs, so go imp demo, it can like save people's lives, please. If demo falls off on any boss ever, it's extremely dangerous. Twins is one of those ones that like I remember when we had our MT die in LG, he like forgot to stone shield again, and then Demo got double resisted and he got like 1 shot. So Demo is like a 30% damage reduction on any boss, by the way. That's how important Demo is. It's like the difference between a tank wearing leather and plate. So right here, you'll see boss is about to go into execute phase, and we're about to get a threat drop when it teleports.
Nine back up.
If the teleport happens late like this, get out. By the time you get to the other side, the tank's not gonna have much threat. If you're slamming executes off the rip, like a single max rage execute can be like 10k threat or something. I forget what the exact number is. It's like 10 or 12k. So be extremely careful in execute phase on this if threat is not really, really good. You want to always see like a 10 to 15k threat lead if you're slamming max rage executes. So just keep that in mind. Because these guys, if you rip on one of the twins, he'll probably turn and one-shot you.
That's good though.
But it's a lot of back and forth. It's kind of mana intensive for healers and casters. Very controllable fight. People just all need to be responsible and not drag bugs. If you have a low mana pool, not a lot of gear, mana potting and Dark Rune early on this fight is really important. These fights oftentimes can go like 2.5, 3, 4 minutes. I don't think we'll see a 4-minute fight, but like historically there have been like 4 and 5 minute twin fights. So just
mana pot and Dark Rune early as a healer. Have flasks. I mean, if you mismanage your mana, like just always have extra flasks just in case. But...
yeah. So this was actually a pretty quick kill time by us. You can see like all of these shaman or all these healers that are here are like super geared, and even them, they're all ending at like 10, 15, 20%. So yeah, care for your mana on this fight. But... and then the insignias that Never had mentioned earlier, you can get one off of each boss, so make sure you loot each boss for the insignias. Does anybody have any questions on twins specifically? There's a lot that goes on it, but it's relatively simple. It's just kind of long.
I have a very easy question. Why do we have a warlock tank? I just don't know why we do that.
Because of shadow resistance, so they can stack shadow res gear to eat those shadow bolts from the caster boss, and they also can do a crap ton of threat with Searing Pain. So
so they have very good snap threat and shadow resistance, so they can just eat.
Yeah, there's actually strats where people use shadow priests to do it. That's technically like
shit.
Also, but
in Season of Discovery, I tanked it on shadow priest as well.
Spamming mind blast. Well, you can't spam mind blast, I guess.
Yeah, but generally guilds just use warlocks like 90.
Is it because they are able to get that snap threat and tank shadow resistance? Because I'm assuming once they swap, the threat drops.
Yeah, the threat drops every time, but I think
the other thing is priests we're PIing the warlocks on this fight, so like we'll have 2 priests on each side. So like obviously the one that starts with the warlock, one priest is PIing them. Then it swaps to the other side. A priest on that side PIs them. It swaps back. The second priest PIs that first warlock again.
Oh shit!
And so just like by the end of the fight, if it goes on long enough, you're not going to have a PI. But just to ensure that it goes smooth, that's what we're using them on.
And when you say ensure goes smooth, it's just the warlock able to establish threat by having
just
PI
extra damage, more.
Okay.
Yeah, extra damage, more threat. Yeah.
So that is twins. Relatively simple, just a long fight. Listen to comms, don't drag bugs. If you see a bunch of bugs, murder the bugs immediately. Okay, so post twins trash. This is. I don't know if I would call it the scariest. It can definitely be the scariest trash in here if it's not handled properly. So as long as like it's handled properly and we don't double pull, it's really not that bad. But people need to play smart. So basically, we're going to try and fish as many slayers as possible so that we don't have a bunch of mind slayers in these packs. Mind slayers do mind control on the top threat, and they also they terrify people, or horrify, or whatever it's called, when they die. So you can't actually break it with things like Death Wish. It's like different than a fear mechanic, but we have very specific kill orders for each mob that's here. If you're a melee, you guys need to put on super thick gear, like full plate, like stamina, take off your Lionheart, put on like a 2.5 helm if you have it, pop stone shields.
Be an ill-prepared tank.
Basically, just respect this trash. This trash will one-shot you if you're playing greedy. So
you might.
Basically, there's these 3 packs. These first like 2 pulls here are probably going to be slow, because they're like the scariest pulls in the entire dungeon for overpulling.
Cooked right now.
So let's see.
Yeah, grab it.
Diamond's good.
This is going to bring bugs. So
Yeah, melee.
okay,
Just kill the bugs when
so
they come in.
champion
Be
is going to be
careful the
Skullmark.
whirlwinds here when
I think.
those mobs stop. If all 4
I think
of
this is mismarked here. I'm pretty sure champion's Skull.
them are stopped, they're gonna do the whirlwind.
We're not going in order of what the marks typically are. We will call out what targets should be focused first.
Don't
So, like,
clap.
for example,
Ducks.
in this, we're going to kill Slayers first, and then we'll kill the champion, and then we'll kill the Mind Slayers. These Slayers are the scariest bit for melee. They all whirlwind. This triple stack of Slayers right here, without Demo Shot on it, if you're a melee that walks in with like 6k health, no stone shield, wearing like greedy ass armor, if all 3 of them whirlwind at the same time, which they usually do on the run-in, because they have such a long time to come to us, their internal cooldown on the whirlwind is up and they just cast it. A triple stack whirlwind like this on like a low geared melee with no stone shield will just die like instantly. So
Yeah, I'm fine.
be really
Just through the
mindful.
door.
What we're gonna do, if there's ever like 4 Slayers, we're gonna split, say like Skull X right side and like square moon or square triangle or whatever it ends up being to like the left side, so that all 4 are not stacked up on each other. You only really want 2 Slayers in a stack at most, because like you can see even with
Separate
2 Slayers stacked up here, melee can
May
take
just
a lot
kill
of
these
damage. So
scarabs in the range. Just AE them down.
Black marks.
we're gonna cleave these down.
Yeah,
I guess we
this
have
is
all
first
3
pull,
stacked here. It shouldn't be a thing, but
I see.
okay. So we're not gonna kill the Mind Slayer next. We're gonna go kill the
Mind Slayer
champion.
last. Kill the champ. Watch
I'm
the
not a good
MC on
example of
Pat.
this,
You
I was
get
checking Pat
a,
timers. But okay, hold on, let me dial it back. Okay, so kill the Slayers.
Edit this out.
Yeah. I was trying to help him like pull. Anyway, the champion does a random threat drop. He also does a fear. These Slayers do a silence, by the way, an AoE silence. So if you're on demo sign, getting demo like up kind of early is important, so that you don't get like silenced and not be able to demo. So keep that in mind also. You don't want to like walk into all 4 of them and hit demo first, because that'll usually give you enough global threat to just get like one shot by them. So it's kind of a fine line between hitting demo early enough that you don't get silenced and not hitting it so early that you like get global aggro and die. But champions do a threat drop knockback. So whenever tanks are done over here, it's good to have 1 or 2 tanks go over and start help taunting up on the champion, so that it doesn't just drop threat and go smack a caster or something. Casters, if you ever see a champion running at you, you can drop dummies. So until the tank can get to it, but ideally tanks don't ever let that happen.
Black marks.
I'll probably get a better angle of that kind of a pull here in a second. But we'll kill Slayers and then champion, and then Mind Slayers are always killed last no matter what.
I dispel the wreck.
Yeah, don't.
And the reason being is that like when the Mind Slayer dies, it fears everybody in like 20 yards of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Your group.
Slayers.
Okay, so 4 Slayers. This right here is like an actual death blender. If you were to walk under this like right away and they start whirlwinding.
Step
These up.
careful.
Get sprung. Don't get sprung.
Kill the Slayers first.
So just keep your stone shields rolling anytime we're calling out their Slayer packs coming.
Kill these scarabs too. Mages.
It's not worth saving the 3 gold to not have 2,000 armor on these things.
Kill the Slayers.
Christy seed.
So that was a really good example of how to split them, by the way. So we have 2 here and 2 here. That was like perfect.
You're fine.
Slayers, you
Those
died.
die, and then we go to the champion.
Champ.
3
What's going on?
3 demo
I
resists in a
honestly
row.
see.
Okay.
Square.
So this last pack we'll do back up here again. First 3 are going to be done in this doorway. Same thing, 4 Slayers. See that? All 4 of them cast Whirlwind at the same time.
Spinning here.
If you're standing like right in the middle there and there's no demo,
Oh, shit.
it'll just kill you.
Wait, watch out.
I can't taunt it. Care.
Yeah, they spent them in defense.
Dispel your tanks.
That's good comms, Chris. Yeah, dispel your tanks so we can taunt stuff.
One more, or we move?
Did I type something?
No, you said
Or
it.
I said
Yeah,
something?
you said it.
Yeah.
You thought about it.
Yes. Tanks need to be dispelled on this. It gets forgotten sometimes. Off tank as well.
Okay, so this next pack we'll either do up here or like sometimes it can be done further back, but
Coming.
They're pulled. Make sure
these
we're
are all
separating
kind of
these
the same
out.
thing where, you know, a bunch of slayers, maybe a mind slayer or two,
It's a little weird.
and then a champion.
Just to look at where the mobs are at.
So the whole idea is we split up the slayers. This is sloppy as hell.
Weird.
If we ever have more than like just slayers, if it's like we have a mind slayer in a pack, by the way, the mind control that goes out, it'll just like MC whoever top threat is. If that person runs into like the melee stack and you guys are like cleave whirlwinding, you can actually just kill your friend like really quick. So be super mindful of that. I've seen people. I've not seen anybody die in a raid I've been in. I've seen people almost die so many times though from that. So just be really careful. Okay, do one more champion pack down this hallway. It's 4 slayers again. Probably all whirlwind here.
Tremors. Kill the slayers.
Okay, and then this last champion pack, there's one that, or not last, but it's the last for this little bit. It circles around up here, so we usually fight it in the hallway, kind of like right here. You don't want to fight it too far up to where, like, if the champion fears, it'll like fear people into the nullifier packs.
Those are the people.
Okay, same old with that. Okay, so next new type of trash.
That's going.
Nubasath Warders, I think, is their name. Yeah, and then the nullifiers. These nullifiers have a very similar mechanic to the whatever it's called, the little bird guy at the beginning of the instance as well. Where if they hit 100% mana, they explode. And actually, these ones take everybody down to 1 HP when that happens, and it takes off your Petri if you have a Petri. These packs are an absolute no joke. These need to be handled with like the utmost respect. They're super easy and they die quick, but if we were ever to like double pull them, for example, or let one of the bombs go off, it's like potentially like 20 people dead. So just be super mindful on these. Warriors, I would recommend saving your Death Wish from these last 2 Slayer packs. I wouldn't touch it, and have your Death Wish available for this first one. The reason being, this big guy can cast Fear. So on the run-in, if you get feared, and you get feared into this other pack, it's like super bad news bears. So having Death Wish for this first pack in particular is super important, in my opinion, to make sure that we have an available fear break that doesn't cause anybody to get feared into this room. If for some reason when we're doing this first pack, you do get feared and you don't have any way to break it, and you say you're like running right here, Petri, like just don't even think about it, just slam a Petri, please. That 50 gold is not worth wiping your entire raid. So
Pull it down.
we're going to pull these 2 nullifiers. We're going to blow up Skull. Usually no mana burns on Skull. We're just going to do all mana burns on X.
Half of you aren't even in range.
I'm rooted here.
Spence.
And as long as it's mana burned properly, it's usually not too big of an issue. But you can see even with like as quick as it died, it got up to like 50% with mana burns. So this guy will get dragged out over here to the left, ideally. I guess in this case he didn't, but he does an AoE silence, and he also does like a dust cloud. So in an ideal setup, let me show you real quick. In an ideal setup, nullifiers are killed here, warder is tanked kind of over here-ish, and then casters and healers and stuff, you guys are kind of back behind us over here, so you're max range from his silence, and he won't silence you.
Warder needs to come down. Insta-dispels on him.
Get this next one pulled up.
Okay, so now that first one's dead, it's not nearly as bad.
Do I need to leave?
But that first pull is like super important for the fear break, so that we don't get feared into this room and double pull the other one.
Let's go. That's my goats.
Okay, so same thing here. Just mana burn X, blow up Skull, and then X, and then we'll move to the warder. Okay.
I feel like it.
We're gonna have 2 more champion packs. These are the last 2, and then we're gonna have 2 more nullifier packs, and then last 2 bosses.
Double Mind Slayers going away.
So we'll pull this one back here. Thankfully, we have this entire room to work with here if we need to. So like these 2 Mind Slayers, for example, we'll split them up and do a different corner. We're gonna blow up these 2 Slayers, kill the champion, and then we'll kill the Mind Slayers.
These sheeps, please.
Watch Oliver. Watch Pat. Watch Oliver.
Sheep Oliver.
So once the Slayers are dead, kill the champion, and then ideally we kill both Mind Slayers at the same time, so that we don't have to worry about like getting feared twice.
Together. Kill them together.
Don't cleave him. Don't cleave Starnes.
Sheep.
Oh yeah, warriors. If you guys don't have Slam learned, go learn Slam. Actually, when mind controls go out in this game, for some reason it really likes casting Slam, and it doesn't hit very hard, and it takes like an actual cast timer, which buys people time to like CC you and stuff. So, yeah, you can also use Slam for things like Saf and like Onyxia, but if nothing else, just for the mind control to like potentially save your friend's life, so you don't like open up with like a BT on them. You can open up with a Slam and a mind control.
Want to get nullifier as well?
Okay, so we'll do
I think it's ideal to pull.
this last champion pack again. Same thing as all the others. Split up the Slayers, kill Slayers into champion, into Mind Slayers. Then we'll do nullifier, same deal. Mana burn X, blow up skull on X, then the warder. Usually we'll get like a full drink here. Check specs, all that good stuff. We're gonna do this. This is gonna be our rage pack for Oro. We're gonna move back to Oro. Okay. Oro is a relatively simple boss that has like extreme consequences for people who don't know how to read a threat meter. Basically, we're gonna have 4 tanks chasing here, or 3 tanks chasing, and then 1 tank opening. The way this boss works is every 20 seconds or whatever, he does a threat drop, or he does a sweep first, which knocks everybody in melee range back.
Alright, walk in.
It is dodgeable and it is parryable. So if you're a melee DPS that's standing in on the boss when he does a sweep, if all of your tanks get knocked and you parry it, because you're the only target in melee range eligible for melees, you're going to get slapped in the face. So it is my recommendation, if you're a melee DPS, when he does his knockback, that you walk away with it, just in case you parry or dodge it. You do not want to be the only person in melee range of Oro at all. He will send you back to Duratar so fast. Mages never, I'm assuming you guys are going to do what you used to do, and just like always go for the Ignite strat here, or...
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to go for it. Yeah, I think everyone who's going fire knows the strat, so...
Okay.
Should be good.
The goal with the mage strat, I'll explain it briefly, is to be top threat, so that every time he casts Sandblast, which is his threat drop mechanic, anybody that gets hit by Sandblast has their threat reduced to 0, basically. The goal with the mage strat is that mage is top threat, so that when Sandblast is cast, it always casts towards the Ignite mage, and the Ignite mage ranges it so they never lose their threat, which means you never have to tank swap, technically. It doesn't always work, so always treat this fight as if the mage strat isn't going to work, and then if it does work, that's golden, and the tanks will know how to react to it. But
yeah, sometimes it's hard. It's just RNG, and you just like can't get the ignite up.
Yeah.
High enough. So
yeah. So that's why we'll play both strats like normal, and if the mage ignite strat works, then that's wonderful. If not, then melee, that's when you need to be extra careful, because every time a sweep or every time a Sandblast goes out, whoever was top threat then is no longer top threat, and it's going to go to second threat. If that person is not in melee range when that happens, it's extra scary, because all of a sudden it's going to whoever is underneath them, and if that's you and not the tank it's supposed to be, yeah, I would probably Petri, but if you're not going to, I'd put a shield on in D stance and maybe like say that it's on you or something. Just don't have that happen to you. Don't climb over your tanks.
I'm sorry, Dark. I disconnected. Why is the whole mage tank strat thing a thing? Is it just because when he resets, they retain aggro?
Yeah, so I'll be out of range of the Sandblast, so like my threat will never drop, because like he can only melee. He has like a certain melee attack range. He doesn't like range or anything. So I'll be like far out. I don't know. If you look at like that beetle next to my name, never in the raid frames, like that's where I'll be standing. So when the sandblast comes out, it's like a 180 cone coming into my direction, but I won't lose threat because I'm like standing so far away.
Yeah.
So
If that
with
makes
you
sense.
retaining threat, what does that do with the rest of the raid?
It means the
It
tank
lets the
doesn't
tanks.
lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll play real quick so you can see a sandblast because I don't think we had a mage ignite.
Yeah, I don't think we
this
got it
one.
on this one. Yeah.
So on the walk-in, obviously respect the opener. We have like 20 seconds before the first knockback and sandblast to let tanks establish. If you're a melee DPS, you're staying underneath all 4 tanks here. I do not ever climb over tanks on this fight unless you plan on dying.
Knockback in 8 seconds.
Mm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like dark second.
Okay, so tanks, what we do here, there's 2 ways to handle this knockback. You can snowball it, like I did, or you can do what the intended mechanic is, where I don't know if I have any tanks in here anyways, but potentially if anybody is ever planning on tanking in the future, this is how this works. You snowball it, you get hit by the knockback, and then you snowball in place so it stops you. Or you swap Zerker stance and you charge back in. Or if you're a feral, you would just feral charge. But I find snowball to be more reliable, so you don't have to go Zerker stance and potentially have threat on the boss at the same time. It's sus. But anyway, so knockback goes out. Right after knockback, you get your sandblast. It's 180 degrees. So if the boss is positioned in a manner in which you're in that 180 degree cone, you're going to start spinning in place and take like 3k damage and have your threat wiped. Now, if you're a melee that rips, for example, right before sweep or sandblast goes out, and you sandblast the entire raid, people are dying because then healers aren't healing. Everybody just took a bunch of damage, and this boss is just going to start smacking whoever's in threat. So same thing with mages, by the way. Positioning on the mage strat is super important. So if you have the ignite and you're a mage and you've never done that strat before, I would like either call to drop the ignite so it's not on you or you don't get top threat, or very quickly have it explain to you where you're supposed to be standing. So like real quick, where Never was explaining with the beetle, I'll be back here somewhere so that when sandblast happens, it's going to happen kind of like in a line like this, so that the raid doesn't get hit with sandblast. If the raid ever gets hit with sandblast, it's really bad. So very important that doesn't happen. Okay, so first knockback happens. Right after knockback, you will always sandblast, and then that is going to wipe whoever gets hit by the sandblast.
Keep the ignite on. Guys.
And then it's going to go to whoever's second. So you see Boof's threat gets wiped. It goes to Mini here. So I let Mini pick it up.
Stay under Mini, dark.
Next knockback, 3, 2,
Yep. Ignite is cooked.
1, 0.
So next knockback.
Sandblast soon. Be ready to heal dark.
And then Sandblast goes out. And then it's going to go on the next tank, which is me in this scenario.
Heal dark.
Yeah, recovering.
Kill the boss.
Once it hits 20%, he goes into Enrage. He'll do knockbacks, but he doesn't sandblast again.
So that's good. Knockback soon. Should kill after the knockback. Nice. Watch the popcorn. Look around.
So after the boss dies, these little we call it popcorn. Did we get popcorn?
I don't think we got any.
Damn it. Okay, well, you'll see like little crumbly bits of rock kind of moving around on the ground. It deals damage to you, and then after a little while, they'll all converge on each other and like spawn a bunch of bugs. So just know after the fight is over, the fight is not over. If we see popcorn, you need to keep moving. Before Cthulhu, we're gonna pop like GNPP and GSPP. If you pop a GNPP while popcorn is still active, it's probably gonna get wiped out. So don't just wait for the popcorn to go away before you pop it.
Pop a GSPP, pop a GNPP. Right now, mount up. Let's get to the room.
Bro, I got throttled.
At your...
Dude, I was so mad. I popped wreck. I was trying to parse in my last raid, and then Mini just like slightly overtook me, and I didn't want to rip off him.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this start to finish, so you guys can see how the fight plays out real quick.
All right, opener's good.
Because Oro is very simple, but also like super deadly if it's not handled properly. So So knockback. And sandblast.
Keep taking it up.
That's going on the next tank.
How many?
Heal mini, heal mini. All good.
Gonna stay under main, dark.
And remember, if you're a melee DPS, every time you see knockback about to happen, just walk out. It is possible to dodge it or whatever. And then, yeah, see, like, all these guys that were in right there, all of them dodged it. You can stay in if you, like, seriously trust your tanks. I would say on our prog tomorrow, or Monday, sorry, like, don't do that. Just walk out for a sec and just come back in. It's not worth it if somebody fucks it up.
Sandblast soon, be ready to heal dark.
I really don't want to see people die to Oro. Nobody ever needs to die to this boss if it's handled properly.
Yeah, recovering it.
Kill the boss. Pat is second, so that's good.
And healers, be ready to swap, by the way.
Should kill
Sometimes
after
threat is
that
super
time.
close and tanks are dumb and overtake each other. That shouldn't
Nice.
happen,
Watch the popcorn.
but
Look around.
threat is super spiky. Oro hits like a truck. So if,
Yep, be watching your target of target and threat meter for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, mount up. Let's get to the room.
There is one priest that is out with the mages. Speaking of their little strat, and they're basically so like the mage is standing far out. The priest is then standing like way far out from the mage. They're just keeping them power word shielded. Maybe throw a renew on them. If the mage is nowhere near with their ignite on the threat meter, you can walk up, do some damage to Oro, and then kind of walk back when you watch the ignite climbing, or if they're getting close to overtaking it, because you don't want to be anywhere near that mage when they're going to get the threat. So.
Glare is kill you. If you mean the eye beam, it's nature.
Glare, shadow, or nature?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to Cthulhu now. I'm gonna step by step go through Cthulhu slowly. It's a really simple fight, all things considered, but it takes a lot of coordination, specifically in the first phase. And there is no room for error for one person, like particularly like a melee or anybody to be mispositioned. You will very quickly kill your friends. So, Cthulhu deserves a lot of respect as far as mechanics go. You guys need to be like fully locked in on this boss. Otherwise, you can kill yourself very easily. You can accidentally kill your friends very easily too. So, just for the next 10 minutes while I explain this boss, full focus. If for some reason my explanation's taking forever for this raid, I apologize, but there's a lot that goes on. I just want to make sure everybody is like
You're doing fine.
fully prepared for all of it. But just 10 more minutes of full focus, because Cthulhu is easily the most consequential fight in this entire raid. So before we go in, we're going to pre-pop a GNPP and a GSPP. Everybody needs to have one popped. The eye beam damage that you get in phase 1 is nature, and then the eye tentacles in phase 2 do mind flays, which is shadow. So having these popped can help save your life if you're mispositioned or get really unlucky with damage taken on stuff.
Everybody.
Zerk.
I'd
Okay,
like
so
45.
let me pull up map real quick. Where is it? Oh. Okay, so this is not accurate, obviously, because we haven't done the roster yet, but everybody is going to have a very specific spot they're standing on Cthulhu. There is no if, ands, or buts about where you're standing, and if you're on the wall, that's where you're going. If we tell you to go on the wall, that's where you're going. If you're a melee, don't expect to be in on the boss, because we can only have so many people in. So, if we have more than two people in a stack on melee, or anywhere in the raid, for example, if more than 2 people get hit by eye beam, it can kill the third person. Because the beam that happens in phase 1 doubles in damage every time it hits somebody. So, super important you guys respect positioning. If you get hit by a tentacle, which can happen throughout the fight in the first phase, like these little claw tentacles will spawn and like boop you, it's really important that you don't walk through 5 people trying to get back to your stack. You take, if you get knocked far enough out, you just walk straight to the wall and don't stand by anybody else. Or you take like the most direct path back to your stack as possible without overlapping other groups. So like, let's say, I don't know, let's say I'm like Starnsy here or something and I get booped this way. I'm not like running, you know, in between a bunch of people to get back. I'm just gonna like go straight back to my stack right here. You don't want to be in between people. I think the I-beam chain is like 10 or 11 yards or something, so it's not super far, but because of how tight the positioning can get, it's really easy to accidentally chain it to your friends. So, very important that you guys handle your positions properly. We're gonna do practice run on positions, probably, I would imagine, at least once or twice on the run-in and everything to make sure everybody can check themselves and check their neighbors and make sure everybody knows what they're doing, where they're going, and that it's done properly. And during this first phase, you're not strafing around. If you're somebody who likes jumping around and shit, you're standing in place. The only time you're moving is for dark glare, or if a tentacle hits you and you need to reposition back to your spot. So that's it. Once you get in position on Cthulhu, like, that is it until phase 2, or until dark glare, and then into phase 2. But okay, so GNPP, GSPP, the single very most important part of this fight is the entry. It is so easy to accidentally kill basically your entire raid on this fight if you don't handle the entry properly. Now, all you have to do is nothing. That's the good part. That's all you need to know. On the entry, until we say you're allowed to press buttons, you do nothing. You don't sprint, you don't blink, you don't pop potions, you don't swap stances. You treat it as if you're in stealth, and any button you press takes you out of stealth. That's all you need to know. The only button you're pressing is W key. On the walk-in, you can get hit by like a claw tentacle that throws you. That doesn't put you on the threat table. Pressing buttons after that puts you on the threat table. The claw tentacle will hit you for like 500 damage. It does absolutely nothing. It's just there to freak you out. So, when you get hit by said claw tentacle, which happens all the time, you're not going to do anything. You're going to continue W keying to your spot, you're going to get in position, and you're not going to do anything until we tell you it's fine. That's all you need to know on the entry.
We're not going to yell in Discord and lip.
Nope.
Does Major's Troll Blood still give you threat?
No, it never did. It's
okay.
It's a myth. Yeah, MP5 and HP5 and stuff, none of that actually puts you on the threat table at all. What does,
I used to always click that off.
Yeah, what does is pressing any buttons. So you don't want to have, like, if you're a shaman, you don't want lightning shield pre-popped. There's like a debate whether or not that actually.
So drinking a lip will do it. Not having a lip.
Drinking any potions, I think, can. Definitely not worth trying, but things like blink and sprint definitely do. Things you wouldn't think put you on the threat table will give you like 15 threat. That's all it takes. Because you're not. It's
dismiss pet for phase 1?
Yeah. I think. I'm just gonna say yes, because there's been like a debate as to whether or not hunter pets can chain the beam. I know for a fact warlock pets can. I don't know if I've seen a clip where a hunter pet can, but when you think about it, like, it's just not worth the risk, I guess. I've never seen a clip where a hunter pet can chain a beam, but I would just dismiss, unless, like, say for example, like Kyle tells you otherwise and it's fine. I trust Kyle.
You don't want to be the first.
Yeah. I do know for a fact that hunter pets can chain beams, though, so or not hunters, warlock pets, so warlocks do need to be careful. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the entry walk-in looks like. Each melee stack is going to have a mark like this. If you're in on the boss, you'll know what mark you're going to, and that is the only mark you're going to. You're not stacking as a third with your friends. There's going to be a pull timer, and you're going to see the tank run in before the pull timer is done. That is intentional. The main tank is going to run in, and they're going to take 3 I-beams by themselves. They've got it handled. They have everything they need to survive those 3 I-beams. If anybody gets on the threat table before those first 3 I-beams go out, it makes them an eligible target for the I-beam, which will chain to the entire raid while they're running in. So I'm telling you, it's so important you don't do anything on the run-in. No blood raid.
Because it can chain to the entire raid.
Yes, and it will wipe the entire stack. So it is so important, like ridiculously important, that you do nothing.
If you've never heard of Tiny Violin, this is one of the 2 fights he wiped by
this and Four Horsemen, right?
By chaining the lightning to a bunch of people. So.
Yeah.
Remember, Boop's going by himself early, okay?
4.
You're waiting.
3. 2.
Okay, so tank goes in. We're not moving. I wouldn't even do that, to be honest. I would just sit and do a whole lot of nothing.
Wait.
And right about now we'll go.
Okay, walk in.
Reason being, it gives him space to get up there, so he's taking I-beams. Now, I would recommend, by the way, on this fight, you can slash tar, like slash target eye, so that you have the Eye of Cthulhu's threat table up, and you can see his target of target. If you're ever running into Cthulhu and you see him target anybody other than the main tank in
Oh,
the first
shit.
20 seconds,
Oh my god.
slam a Petri. It's the only thing that'll save your life. So.
No buttons, no buttons, no buttons.
See this? I'm like hovering my Petri. Do it every time walking around Cthulhu, bro. It is not worth it. So once he takes the third eye beam, Cthulhu will stop targeting people for like 10 seconds or something. That's when it's okay to start doing things and touching buttons. So we'll call it. I don't want y'all doing it any earlier than we say it. Everybody needs to be in position. So you can see everybody's still positioning here, but he's not targeting anybody for a second. Now, after like 10 seconds, he'll start targeting people with eye beam again, like this. If any more than 2 people are in a stack, say on like 7 here, I think he's like right here, and take this eye beam, they're at risk of dying. So it's very important you get in position and you stay in position. Melee need to be perfectly spread out here.
The range killing those. I don't want anybody.
If a claw tentacle spawns and throws me towards this stack over here, like, it's pretty scary.
Damage to those mind plays. Dark glare in 8 seconds should be.
Okay, so dark glare is about to come out. Wherever this last eye beam goes, right here, this is dark glare. So you see dark glare is at sub 5 seconds. This eye beam, whoever this hits is where dark glare is going to face. Dark glare turns Cthulhu's eyeball into a giant fucking laser beam. And there's only one thing you can do to survive it if you get hit by it, and that is be pre-petried. It hits you for like 100,000 or something. So if you feel like you're not going to be able to make it out of dark glare by the time it starts channeling, just hit a petri. If you greet it, you'll die. If you're too close to the beam, for example, there's a lot of weird RNG shit that can happen. You see these eye tentacles that just spawned? These eye tentacles and claw tentacles can spawn and knock you into the direction of where dark glare is during the beam. So you want to try and stay on the back side of the eyeball as much as possible while dark glare happens. So all it does is it's going to shoot a beam and it's going to rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise around the room until it hits 180 degrees, and then it'll reset. And then we're back in phase 1. Now, with enough damage, popping Death Wish and Wreck and everything we have here, in this first phase we'll never have to reset. And I think we have enough damage now to make sure that happens. But if we ever do have to reset, people need to remember their positions to get back after Dark Glare. So keep that in mind. I think we'll be fine. I need to like look at actual numbers and see what like our DPS is like for the first phase. I don't think we'll be anywhere close to needing to, but if you're ever a part of a raid, you know, that needs to do a second phase 1, just know that everybody has to know where their positions are and get back in place, or people are going to die to eye beams. So anyway, all right. So last eye beam goes out, dark glare starts.
Move out of the way of the eye beam. Look in front of you. Ranged on the eye tentacles. Everybody else kill this thing.
And notice I ran straight to the back of the eyeball. I'm going to stay behind the eyeball the entire time. If you're a melee, like over here, attacking, this is scary as shit. If a claw tentacle spawns right here, it will throw you towards the glare, and if you don't petri mid-air, you're going to die. So don't be on the sides here. Like even over here, this is a little greedy. A claw tentacle here can throw you that way.
Execute.
See that?
Be ready to be pressing petri during.
Why are they there
during
in the
this
first
phase?
place?
It's just like comfy gameplay. I think like people have done it a bunch and they've been fine, you know. So they don't put as much thought into their positioning on Cthulhu. But like I said, Cthulhu at like every stage of Cthulhu requires a lot of respect and positioning properly and mechanics. So is coming from. I was in the fucking washed up eye beam incident thanks to Bobby not knowing what he was doing.
I was gonna say you should show that. You should show that clip.
Oh yeah,
After,
you know what? Actually,
after you do the
not
review.
seen it.
Good comms.
Yeah, I've got a couple Cthulhu clips to play before we did that as well. So
I've seen the Zuglight for Heart and Solo clip of that rogue that sprinted and got eye beam chained and killed a bunch of people. But
oh yeah.
So anyway, watch this real quick. You're gonna see a claw tentacle spawn while I'm on like the backside, and it's totally fine. But if like you're over here and it happens, you can see how far it throws people. Watch this.
Kill the eye. Execute. Move towards the front of the room.
So if you're like up here, it can boop you just straight into the eye.
Mm.
Just be super mindful. But ideally, we have enough damage, and we don't have to worry about this ever going to phase 1 again. Things can happen, damage can be low, people can DC, whatever, like whatever if we ever have to go back to a phase 1 because we don't meet this DPS check, we'll be calming it like crazy, and it is so freaking important that everybody gets back perfectly in position before phase 1 restarts over. So ideally this
What a
doesn't ever
choreography.
happen, but just know that it is a potential thing that can happen.
Giant claw in 8 seconds.
Okay, so
Make sure a tank gets on
once
this claw.
Dark Glare is over, because we've killed the big eyeball, he turns into like this
shit,
giant
yeah, the
fleshlight instead. And when you see him like go fleshlight mode, everybody is going to the front of the room where we came in, and that is where we're going to hang out for the rest of the fight. There's like no ifs, ands, or buts about that either. So what happens is anybody in this raid at any point in this room is eligible to have a claw tentacle, a giant claw tentacle, or a giant I-beam tentacle spawn next to them. So everybody being positioned at the front guarantees that it will always spawn next to where we want it to. If you're like at the far side of the room, there's like a 1 in 40 chance that it'll spawn next to you. But we don't want
So you
that.
control the chaos.
Yes. Claw tentacles hit really hard, so let your tanks pick them up, get threat, and get taunts out. They can be stun locked by rogues. Demo super big on these. Just if you rip on these as like a melee DPS, it's kind of squishy. Just be really careful. I'd be ready to lip, to be honest. These guys hit really hard, so.
Stay locked in. Kill this claw. Kill this claw.
During this phase, by the way, Cthulhu takes like no damage, so I wouldn't waste any like rage on abilities just smacking the boss. So you're just kind of sitting around. You'll notice this right here, this mouth thing. This is pulling people down into the stomach on Cthulhu. The stomach is how we phase this into the last phase where we burn it. So there's 2 tentacles inside of the stomach, and I can actually show you. I'll show you a stomach clip actually in a minute when I show you the I-beam clip, because I get pulled into the stomach on that one. But basically there's 2 tentacles. Once they both die, Cthulhu gets weakened, and then we burn the boss. Anybody that is inside of the stomach when the boss dies with the boss. So it's very important that everybody that is in the stomach is out before the boss hits 0%, otherwise they will die. There's another thing about the stomach. When you're in there, you get these like stacking nature damage debuffs, and it is not petriable. So the only way to survive the stomach period is to get out. And I'll show you how to use elevator and stuff in a minute and kind of explain the nuances with it. But, so every like 40 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever, giant claws and giant eyes will spawn up top, and then randomly it'll just start pulling people down into the stomach, and then the tentacles need to get killed, and we'll just kind of like repeat this until the tentacles are dead basically, and then we'll burn the boss and kill it. So you'll see here giant eyes coming out in 10 seconds. If you're in the stomach at this point, I would just stay in until this tentacle spawns, because if you get pulled out of the stomach here and you get pulled out on like the back side of the room, you've become an eligible target for this tentacle to spawn over there. And if you have a giant eye tentacle spawn on the opposite side of the room from where it's supposed to, it's like probably a raid wipe.
She's doing it.
Giant eye happening after
the giant eye tentacle replicates what the eye does in phase 1. So if an I-beam gets cast off of the tentacle, it's going to double in damage every time it jumps and probably kill 20 people. So you interrupt it, you can intercept it, you can stun it, and also ranged. If you're a ranged damage dealer like a hunter, mage, warlock, whatever, every time the big claw tentacle or giant eye spawns, we also get these little eye tentacles that spawn with it. So just keep that in mind also. Those need to be killed and interrupted. They single target mind flay people, and they actually do a lot of damage. So I've seen people die to these little eye tentacles before, so just make sure that you guys kill them when they come out. Don't like pre-position behind the boss to kill the little claw tentacles or the little eye tentacles, but just be ready to kill them once everything is spawned. You can move back there to get them.
If you need to get out, now's a good time. We don't have anything for 15 seconds. Looks like it's just Sunflower down there at 8.
So you see these tentacles are dying. First one's
Warriors
dead.
are going to need to leave after you soon, so don't leave now if you haven't yet.
Giant claws coming out.
Be looking to the right. Be looking to the right. We could get the giant claw.
Olha, eu controle ele não.
It is. That's really bad. This is fine because it's a claw tentacle. If this is a giant eye, this is like extra scary because it can start casting an eye beam before anybody gets to it. And again, if that eye beam goes off, it's going to kill a bunch of people. So this happened because somebody was out of position. I think they came out of the stomach earlier or something. Let me see.
Looking to the right soon, so don't leave now if you haven't yet.
Clone 2.
Be looking to the right.
Yeah.
Right, be looking to the right.
So
Right, we could get the
I think
giant
yeah, Sunflower like just came out of the stomach and she rolled the 1 in 40 chance to get the claw to spawn on her. So if this happens with an eye beam, it's like a severe dire situation for the raid. Everybody needs to get to the eye beam, and like mages for example are probably like our only hope with a like fucking CS from downtown on like an eye beam cast. So just keep that in mind.
Giant claw's on the right. Giant claw on the right. Tank it in.
I'm in.
So this is the whole reason why you stay in the stomach until you know where the eye stalks spawn.
Yeah, you let them spawn before these come out, and then ideally.
Because there's 1 in 40 that happens 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean all it takes is once. I'll show you that clip in a sec.
I posted a little thing that I found Serenity posted a long time ago that was like I got eaten by Cthulhu, what do I do? And it has some good points in there as well. It's all written. It's in the
Fucking
I was looking at it. So sorry.
AQ40 review channel. So I gotta find the clip of Pika like stepping onto the stomach platform at the same time and like not going up as well.
Yeah.
It's a good learning aid.
So once both tentacles are dead, Cthulhu goes into its weakened state, and then we pop all of our cooldowns here. During the weakened phase here, as long as all of the little tentacles are dead, there's 0 damage going out at all. So healers can DPS, you can throw dynamites, like lightning bolts or like smites, or I don't know what priests do to DPS, but there's no damage going out whatsoever once Cthulhu is weakened, as long as all the tentacles are dead. So you can just DPS. The whole point is to kill this boss so that we don't have to repeat the phase we just went through. It is possible to not hit the DPS check again, but also super rare and unlikely. So, yeah. Just once the boss goes weakened, make sure everybody is out of the stomach. These 3 people are still in, but there's a lot of health left on the boss. So.
You guys are
out of the stomach.
Oh, and melee. If you're standing over here, the boss cannot parry you. If you're standing like over here to the left, you can actually get parries. So if you're standing kind of like where you see all these markers, the boss will never parry you.
To get out, but we have a lot of he's out. Alright, just kill the damn boss. Sorry, I'm trying to call these timers you guys are talking about. I don't even know, so you're good.
No, the shut up call was sick. I like that a lot.
That's fire.
I did not enjoy it.
Okay, so that is the full Cthulhu fight. Most important time is the first phase, positioning, making sure that you're not pressing buttons on the run-in. It's like easily by far the most important. Phase 2, positioning at the front of the room properly so that tentacles don't spawn where they're not supposed to. Not staying in the stomach past like 6 or 7 stacks. Making sure you don't come out of the stomach right before a tentacle is about to spawn. And keeping like all of the little baby tentacles around the boss killed, and the big eye tentacle interrupted and stunned, and the big claw tentacle stunned and taunt locked by the tanks. Now, I'm going to show you a clip. This was like the catalyst for the formation of LG, by the way.
Tentacles soon. Eye tentacles soon.
Back to the front of
So, it's our guild leader telling people that there's tentacles
the room.
coming.
Yes. Guys, back
Look for the CS.
back to the front of the room, guys.
Except we rolled the 1 in 40 for a fucking eye tentacle to spawn at the back of the room, and these mages decided it was better to fireball instead of interrupt the fucking tentacle.
Yeah, we got a giant eye
And it killed like 9 people.
in the back. Jesus Christ, man.
Fuck, man. In the back.
Are we all pitching out? Or what are we doing?
No, kill it. Kill it.
And actually, small
Pitching out? Or what are we doing?
Back.
note here, by the way.
Now in the back. Jesus Christ, man.
If you ever want to buy more time, Woke actually saved our entire fucking raid here. If you get targeted with the eye beam and you Petri, it will cancel the cast. So he got targeted.
Fuck.
and the melee stack and slammed a Petri that saved the rest of the melee that were alive.
In the back, in the back.
Are we all petching out? What are we doing?
No, kill it, kill it,
No,
kill it,
fine.
kill it, kill it, kill it,
So,
kill it.
a little note, if some crazy shit
You
like
guys
that ever does happen, you can like chain Petri it off to keep it interrupted. Which is like weird, but doable.
can't go. You guys can't go there. Why did you do that?
We had an
Take an
eye
elevator,
in the
watch
back.
it.
So I can show you my POV actually from that, because I know for a fact I have a stomach clip there. Let me find it.
I found the Pika one as well.
Bro, you're dropping it so casually, but you're dropping like in case of worst case scenario shit ways to live. And I'm still here like
I'm only doing it because I've lived through it. You know, like you don't really think about it until you have to, and like yeah, I mean we got put on the spot.
I mean, I appreciate it, but it's just like holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of info for sure. There's things you probably don't have to look out for, but it's worth saying these things.
Yeah, sorry, I do tend to over-explain a little.
No. I wasn't trying to criticize. I was just like, I was actually thanking you for that because people don't die in this. Like, what you're giving right now is like the starter information, but it's when you're in that nuanced gray area of like, oh fuck, what did I do here?
Yeah.
You gave me answers to, and I was just saying thank you for that, bro, because that's like saving my 8th character in 2038 when I'm fucking running this shit. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. So everything's easy. Like all these raids are easy. It's just kind of a knowledge check. So having people
It's
that have
fucking
done it to
knowledge checks,
explain
bro.
it
Fuck the
is
game.
helpful. I don't know where this freaking clip went. Yeah, I don't know. Chris, you have those clips?
Yep, I got some things ready to go. I'll just share my screen here in a second. All right, not gonna have sound for these, but first one, this is just like a honorable mention. There's really nothing to learn from this, but it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen on Cthulhu.
This
you just gotta watch this. This isn't anything learning. This is nothing, but this is what it looks like when you are about to get eye beamed. So,
is this where he walks under it?
Yeah, he just batches through the fucking eye beam for.
This is probably the only time this has ever happened, by the way. So don't think you can replicate this. He like got lucky with server ticks, basically.
Yeah. So like you can't. This was in a hardcore moments. Like this is like obviously if this beam is coming at you, you need to be ready to Petri this beam. So this would be a Petri, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here at all. This is there's no strategy to this. There's no reason to do this. This is just like you're dead here, 100 out of 100 times.
I've never seen that. That's actually fucking crazy.
Bulls is like unfazed by it. Like
yes. So something else I wanted to show you was when you were down in the stomach, and you were getting out on this trampoline. This is what is happening here. You want to be sure that you are the only person on this trampoline when it goes, or if you are going with somebody, that you are on it with them at the exact same time. Like if you see someone going on the trampoline, you need to get on there immediately or wait for them to get pushed up. And if you don't, this is what can happen. Is you will get flung up and not get put back up. So
You guys need to get out. JMPP.
It is a long enough fall that you will die from fall damage, like every single time if you don't lip it or Petri the fall.
yes, Pika's a gamer, and he, you don't want to be on this circle, as you can see. Like he's not even on the circle really, or like on where the launch pad is, but he gets launched up by this, right?
Yeah.
So he's a gamer. He Petried it. You gotta lip it or whatever. But if you're not trying to exit, don't be on the circle. And if you're going to exit at the same time as somebody, you need to get to the center with them so that you actually get pushed out of the stomach. And then I had one more here. Let me find it.
League of Legends pinned to your taskbar is definitely a choice.
Yeah, it's something, right?
I did find our Cthulhu clip too, so I can show you guys kind of what it looks like in the stomach real quick too, so you know what's up. And just know the slime in the stomach doesn't deal damage to you. It's like water. Just being in the stomach in general is what gives you the stacks. It's not actually the acid. It's just a visual effect.
I'm gonna stop streaming. I can't find this last clip. If I find it, I'll go again.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up my Cthulhu angle real quick for you guys. So you can at least see what happens in the stomach.
Finger 360, you're getting.
When I got there too.
You do
featuring the
much better. Call it when you're.
We
Tentacle,
got giant.
tentacle soon. I tentacle soon. 2, 1.
Okay, so
Back to the front of the room, guys. Back to the front of the room, guys.
You'll spawn right here, and then you can just kind of like go to either tentacle you want.
We have giant
We
tentacle.
got giant eye in the back.
Ideally, don't
Jesus
hold
Christ,
it.
man.
Fuck, man.
In the back. In the back.
Are we all pitching out? Or what are we doing?
No, kill it. Kill it.
That's
Kill it.
fine.
Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it.
So don't strafe close to this like I did. This is like my second.
You guys can't go. You guys can't go there. Why did you do that?
We had a.
You want to be kind of like, if you're fighting these tentacles, don't be anywhere near. It's kind like there's like an invisible zone for it that even goes out to like right here sometimes. So, like Chris said, you just want to be either like fully in or fully.
In the eye in the back.
So watch. Actually, Satan gets launched here.
Clear comms.
Yeah, clear comms, please. Quiet.
Giant claw coming out soon.
Like that, and then he penetrates like right before he hits the ground.
Poke.
Right there.
Focus up. Everyone to the front. Everyone to the front.
You need me to kill this left?
Kill
or
ice.
stay?
Kill ice. Kill ice. Kill ice.
So that's what it should look like when you're going out. You should just
Focus up.
commit,
Everyone to the front. Everyone to the front.
stand dead center.
You need me to kill this left?
Kill
or
ice.
stay?
Kill
Flank
ice. Kill ice. Kill ice.
Now, there's another scenario that can happen, I'll show you here, where these eye tentacles are all still up, and you come out and you're like half health, and you instantly get targeted by eye tentacles like this. And like maybe 8 of your healers died, and you're not getting healed, and you need to petri. So these are like petriable eye tentacles also. But that's what it looks like in the stomach, and then yeah.
I sent you a clip. You can play as well,
Oh
Dark.
god,
This
the
is
split blink.
yeah, it's the split blink.
Classic.
So.
Let's see. Okay, so this is another thing you don't do.
This is what happens when you press abilities walking into Cthulhu.
And then all of a sudden Split gets eye beamed, but Petri's, which resets the eye beam.
So again, another gamer realizing something went wrong and doing something about it. But for those of us like me who are not quite as gamer, that's half the raid dead right there.
Yep. Dude, left page blinking away from that shit.
yeah.
Holy. Dude, he knew. Watch. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, holy crap. Sorry, that, I guess I did
Took a long time.
another 2.5 hour fucking entry to AQ40. I apologize. Thank you for being here. Does anybody have any questions about any of the packs, I guess, along the way? Sorry that took so long. I just wanted to make sure I covered everything for people that hadn't been there.
All good for me. Good stuff, Dark.
If
Ready for a good raid, hopefully.
Yeah.
It should be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's
Any
dude,
more shamans?
Opening up all of AQ will be really good for everybody. It's like
Yeah, start harassing shamans that you see in Orgrimmar, please. Like,
Yep.
you know.
True.